Welcome.
Hey!
Hello everyone. Come on in.
Hi, friends.
Much hype. Welcome to the first ever Dechart Games Club.
Ooh!
What's that? It's like a book club, but for video games?
Oh, yes.
That sounds pretty cool. If you have played Detroit Become Human, please let me know. Let's do a poll and figure out what's going on with everybody here. We have some options. First option, type a 1 in the chat if you have played Detroit Become Human. Type a 2 in the chat if you have played Detroit Become Human more than 3 times. Type a 3 in the chat if you have platinum in Detroit Become Human, meaning you've played through the whole damn deal. That would be us. Go ahead and type a 3 in the chat on our behalf.
3.
And number 4 in the chat if you have seen Detroit Become Human played. So maybe you haven't played yourself, but you got a friend who has, or you've watched Jacksepticeye or some other incredible streamer play the game. Good to see you, friends. Welcome. Come on in. Amelia, while we're doing this poll, will you tell them why?
Yes.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, so we decided to do something called Games Club, Dechart Games Club.
In particular.
Yeah, where we will every other week talk about one of our favorite video games and really just get in depth with it. Like, what do we love about it? What makes it so special? What would we like to change about it? Because Brian and I are going into game development. We are working on a video game that we are making for you, and we want your help through Dechart Games Club.
If there's one thing I know, it's that if you want to do something well, you should consult the experts. And as far as I'm concerned, all of you are the experts on video games and what makes them the most awesome. So we are going to be going on a tour, tour of our favorite video games, the first and third Friday of every month at 2 p.m. This time right now, Pacific time. We are starting with Detroit Become Human because it's something we all have in common. We're going to continue on the third Friday, which is January 21st, with the Resident Evil franchise. We're going to discuss Resident Evil 2 remake we've played and Resident Evil Village, and of course we'll include some other stuff from the franchise. We've got Until Dawn coming up in February, another branching narrative game that we have played to completion. I don't know if we have platinum on it, but we're pretty close. And Horizon Zero Dawn will be completed in February because we're getting ready to play Forbidden West.
Yes.
Horizon Zero Dawn turns into Horizon Forbidden West on February 20th. And Amelia and I are really, really excited to be playing these games with all of you. So thank you to everybody who's recommended a game for us. Thank you to everybody who's joined today or will on a future stream. Amelia and I are really excited to unpack this like we would a book club.
Yeah.
And really go topic by topic. We've got kind of a game plan for today. And it's a very flexible game plan. So it may change as we go. It is worth mentioning that spoilers are completely okay, so if you've played through Detroit Become Human, we might spoil something for you, but the reality is there's lots of different possibilities of what could happen. Also, we really want to encourage you to give us your feedback. Amelia and I say play the positive. We say that especially when we're like stuck in a rut and we need to like find our way out of it, usually that's our solution. But that doesn't mean that everything has to be positive, so we're going to talk about what really works in the game, what doesn't work in the game for all of these games, and most importantly, if we were going to take little bits and pieces of each of these games that we've played together on Twitch and we wanted to put them together in one giant super game, that's literally what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Anybody else wants to vote on the poll, now's your last chance. It looks like...
wow, that's a lot of votes.
Looks like over a third of us have played Detroit Become Human more than 3 times.
Sweet.
And over 17% of us have got a platinum on the game, which is really incredible. I'm really impressed. Thank you all for being here and hanging out. I'm glad you guys are excited.
Yes.
It looks like the largest group of us have played Detroit Become Human 3 times or more. So let me tell you this too. If you have any trivia, because we've been sharing a lot of like behind the scenes trivia about Detroit Become Human, our experiences working on the game. But if you found anything, some unusual part of the game or some strange path, feel free to mention it. The mods are going to pull those mentions into the chat. We got a lot of people to thank you. So can we just... Wow.
Whoa.
The hype is
friends.
real.
Nicole Wandering, thank you so much for the gift sub group hug.
Yo, thank you.
Thank you. If you got a gift sub from Nicole Wandering or any of these other wonderful people, then you can check out our starter kit. This will give you a tour around our Twitch channel, how to get to our Discord, Jericho and Zen Garden. And
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's show some appreciation as well for our moderators. Thank you, mods. Thank you, lieutenants. We super appreciate your help on Twitch and on Discord. Exclamation point Discord will get you to our very cool Discord, where we have some subscriber-only chats. We call them Zen Garden and Jericho, which I bet you can guess why. If anybody knows why, it's you all. Grand Zanarek, welcome back for 27 months. Holy moly. Thank you for being here.
Also, for today, we were thinking about, as a kickoff for the first ever Games Club, of giving away a little mystery loot box.
Yeah, so one thing you guys might not know is that I consider myself the foremost collection of Detroit Become Human memorabilia in the known universe. It is my opinion that you have sent me more artwork from Detroit Become Human than one mammal should possibly possess.
Loot?
And loot?
Yes.
So I'm going to compile a little bit of it. We've got some keychains, some stickers, some art prints that people have sent to us, a cozy cup holder. I mean, like little fun things from the Detroit Become Human fandom around the world. And we're going to start off with one loot box prize. So if you're here and you're subscribed to the channel, you're entered in 5 times. All you have to do is type into the chat when we call for it to let us know that you're here and that you would like to win a thing.
Yes.
And we'll send it to you. And if you give a gift sub, like one of these awesome people like Irish Deviant giving out a gift sub, one or many, you enter yourself in 10 times for our prizes on our streams. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This is going to be fun. Let me give you a little bit of an overview because we're going to do a lot of stuff today. So Amelia and I have decided to break the stream into our 3 segments. Each hour, we take a hydration break. And so the idea for today is that the first hour, we're going to take in a lot of information. We're going to input. We're going to ask for your favorite things about the game, the sort of categories of the game that we want to discuss.
Yes.
In the second phase, the second hour, after we take a hydration break in about 45 minutes, we're going to go into those categories one by one a little bit more. Let's say characters, for instance. We could discuss certain characters together. What do we really like about them? What works? What resonates with us? Why do we love them? Amelia and I really want to get to the bottom of what stands out in a game and what makes you feel compelled to return to it week after week. Because Amelia and I played a lot of games here together.
Yes, we played over 100 games together.
Yeah.
And you all have recommended so many incredible games, which have been really inspiring to us. So our idea is we are working on developing a video game. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
And we're going to make a branching narrative.
Yes.
Because those are the games that I personally have enjoyed the most. It's what you guys recommend the most. And so we're making this game for you. So we want to know what you love the most about these games and what we want to pull into our game that we're making for you.
Yeah. I think that we're going to kind of go with the assumption that y'all like branching narrative games at this point, but we're, as you can see, our upcoming series of Games Club games, some of them are branching narrative, like Until Dawn as well, and then Resident Evil and Horizon Zero Dawn follow a little bit more of a linear plot structure, where Horizon Zero Dawn is an open world game, Resident Evil has some elements that are similar.
Yes.
Thank you guys for all of your nice messages. Toshter,
Hey!
Toshter, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm glad this sounds so ace. I like that.
I'm glad you like it. You guys, you like a branching narrative game. Amelia and I do too. And a lot of the games that you've recommended for us, by the way, if you want to recommend a game, we have a button for that down below the video. Or there's a link in the chat. A lot of the games that you have recommended us, even the ones we haven't played together yet on stream, are narrative games. So we're going to definitely be bringing a branching narrative or a bending narrative that is based in the story being the most important thing. I love to grind in a video game. I want to chop trees. I want to collect herbs. I want to put those things together. The simple truth is, though, what compels me to play a video game is the story and the characters.
So let's talk about the story and the characters. What do you love the most about Detroit Become Human? Because there's so many different video games. I want to know what makes it Detroit the most special game for you.
Right.
What really stands out? And I got my handy dandy little notebook right here, so I'm gonna write down what you've.
I'm gonna say for a poll, what is your favorite aspect of Detroit Become Human? Let's start with the things we really like.
I'm seeing character development. Multiple POVs. So switching character. The character depth, the replay value.
Okay.
The emotional aspect. The flowchart. I'm seeing the different game endings. So the fact that you can have very different experiences depending on the choices that you make.
Nice.
The storyline, the motion capture.
Okay, I'm gonna call that the cinematic animation.
The characters. I'm seeing a lot of love for the different characters. The choices have real consequences. The music. Definitely the music.
Music is a huge one.
The story.
Yeah.
the emotional scenes, the graphics.
Okay. Puzzles. I see puzzles in there.
The plot twists.
Okay. Wow, this is a lot of good info. Yeah. I'm so glad that Twitch saves the chat alongside of the pod. I'm going to have to go back and watch this 6 times. Y'all are typing so fast. Dogs!
It's in third person as opposed to first person.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I agree. I personally like third person better than first person because it can get a little...
We digress. We digress. We discussed before that the difficult thing about doing this, because there's so much info, we could talk about all this stuff for like 100 hours. It'll be really tricky for us to kind of always return back to our funnel point, which is what is the main thing. I'm gonna go with these.
Maybe we can add the game mechanics, like someone says R2 to scan, so that's like a game mechanic. All
right, we're gonna call that game mechanics in general, and then we can get into that in more detail. I'm not gonna pull more than 10 things because it gets a little hard to decide.
All right.
But let's put this up. If you could only pick, don't worry, I'm going to resize this. If you could only pick one of these things about Detroit Become Human that you enjoy, what is the one thing, the top thing? Type a 1 in the chat for character development. 2 in the chat for multiple POV, point of view, or switching characters. Number 3 for the replay value. Number 4 for the emotionality. Or the emotional content, the fact that it has to do with the heart chakra stuff. Number 5, the different endings, or the fact that it's branching. Number 6, that you like the cinematic animation style, that it looks like photorealistic. We got number 7 in the chat. If you enjoyed that the choices have real consequences, if that's the most important to you, type 7. If the music was the thing that brought you over the edge, type 8. If you love that music. And if it's puzzles, type a 9. And if it's the game mechanics, things like the R2 to scan, the pre-construct, the reconstruct, the kind of crime scene investigation-y kind of stuff, go ahead and type a 10 into the chat. Holy cow, this is a lot of information, y'all.
I'm writing it all down.
There's a lot of information coming at us.
Friends, thank you so much.
I need information to determine the best approach. This is my whole ethos. That's the thing Connor and I have the most in common, is all I want is more information. All right, this is really interesting. And I see a lot more discussion going on in Discord, too. Very interesting. We're gonna go character by character for some of these that you really enjoy, and we can
talk about why you love certain characters, what it is that makes them so special, that stands out around among the crowd.
I see Ariel saying, "What if I want all of this?" Then play some Detroit, I guess. I mean, I do think that we're gonna fight for aspects of a lot of this stuff, but what Amelia and I are finding in playing so many games is that we're a little bit overwhelmed by how many good video games there are and how different each of those video games are that are very awesome. So the simple truth is we don't want to get bogged down by trying to do everything. So we're trying to get down to the essential thing most perfectly.
Okay, so it seems that...
Last chance to vote. I'm going to pause the poll here in a sec. What do you see?
It seems that the character development is the most hype out of everything here, followed by choices having real consequence, and then the different endings and the branching aspect of this game.
Okay.
Then the emotionality as well. So it seems that for most of you, the characters, the choices, and the different endings that you can get are the most special thing about Detroit.
Yep.
Which I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think these other things are really important, but I think they serve the overall branching. Okay, so, and also, I mean, different endings and branching and the choices having real consequences, I mean, those are really combined into one. I mean, this is what I think is the secret sauce of a branching narrative game anyway, because if I put in some choice, I want to feel it in the world. And there's an example. So this is, again, a clarification that this is a spoiler safe kind of stream. So if you haven't played the game yet, be wary. But like one of the things that's really enjoyable for me, if you make a smaller choice on the rooftop hostage negotiation scene, the first scene of the game is Connor, you are able to save the cop on the roof with the tourniquet, right? Where you
I'm going to apply a tourniquet.
Yeah, I'm going to apply a tourniquet. He takes off his tie, right, and he ties it up. And then later at the Stratford Tower, when you're doing an investigation, you can come across the officer whose life you saved. And it creates this little side beat. And it was just a little tiny piece, but it gives you that reward for having made that choice much earlier in the game. And so those like little connections I thought were expertly done in a way that made me feel really satisfied with my choices. That it wasn't like obvious, like, if you have to choose go deviant or not, right? Obviously you have to unlock the ability to get to the deviant choice for Connor. But if you got to a point where you're like, I want blue hair or I want red hair, and you click a button and you get blue hair or red hair or whatever, that satisfies me, but it doesn't satisfy me in kind of like a, like a realistic, ingrained, real life kind of a way. So I think that there's a balance between, and babe, you're so sweet, but we have the VOD.
I know, but I like to write things down.
Team, she's written down everything. Every percentage is here.
I want to know what you love the most. We're making our game for you, so it's
we're
important.
making this for you, so we want you to love it. I'm gonna. You let me know when that's clear to be put away.
It's clear to put away.
I, however, would just use the log of the VOD to look at this information later. I'm gonna pause it if anyone else got a chance to chat about it. But
we're gonna start, I think, now with characters.
Okay, yeah. So let's go to characters.
Okay.
Because y'all chose character development as your top thing. Give me 10 characters, team.
Your 10 favorite characters.
10 favorite characters in Detroit Become Human. And I'm gonna type up a list. We'll do the same sort of thing. Characters.
I'm seeing Connor.
I love that guy.
I'm seeing Hank.
Hank, my dude.
I'm seeing
There's Marcus, of course.
Marcus. I'm seeing Cara.
Cara, of course.
I'm seeing Simon.
Simon, my dude.
I'm seeing
Luther.
Luther.
Everybody loves Luther.
I'm seeing it's moving so fast. Sumo. I'm seeing Alice as well.
Alice, little Alice.
I'm seeing Tracy.
And Rose and Tracy.
I'm seeing Chloe.
Chloe.
And that's.
I mean, that's 11, but we can go with it.
Okay.
We can go with it. And North. Okay. And Kamsky. Oh my gosh.
That's
and
like all the
Gavin.
characters.
And Gavin. Okay, I don't even know if we can fit all this. And Ralph. Ralph, of course. How can we forget Ralph?
Okay, so which character should we start talking about first? Because what I would really love to...
I want to poll it.
Yeah.
I want to poll it.
What I'd love to do is decide which... is talk about the character arcs. What was it that made it so special?
It doesn't fit, team. We can't do so many.
Yeah, let's...
So number 1 is for Connor. And number 2 is for... Oh, God, I got to retype all this again. Okay, so who are we leaving off the list?
Maybe we pick...
I'm going to go ahead and make an executive decision on this.
Okay.
Okay, so I think 10 is our limit, team, for the poll.
Okay.
Favorite characters. I'm going to go with the 3 playable ones.
Yeah.
Connor, Marcus, Cara. I'm going to go then with their immediate side characters, which is Hank. I'm making an executive decision. Alice...
I think Alice is she was
She okay, and there. Then I guess Alice and then Carl would be Marcus's that. And then Kamsky. And then I got remember 3 more. I'm not gonna put Sumo because Sumo doesn't really have a whole lot of development. He's a dog and we like dogs for sure.
Yes.
Luther, that's right.
Simon. Lots of love for Simon.
And then give me that one more and Ralph.
Amanda.
Oh, or Tracy.
Let's do Amanda.
I'm putting Tracy.
Okay.
Amanda, look, we can go in and in. We can go on and on, and ever, but I can't do more than 10 on the poll, so we're going to go like this.
Okay, which character do we want to start talking about first?
Let's go with that.
Type 1 for Connor,
2 for Marcus,
3 for Cara,
4 for Hank,
5 for Alice,
6 for Carl,
7 for Kamsky,
8 for Luther,
9 for Simon,
10 for Tracy.
Yes, let us know. Where shall we begin?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good luck, team. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mike Q, thank you so much for the gift sub group hug.
Mike Q, yo, Mike Q, let's give this a hug. Hey. Let's give a big hug.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike
you.
Q.
Appreciate you, Mike Q. Thank you for your good support.
I also see Aki got sticks. Thank you so much for the gift sub.
Aki, thank you for the sticks. Appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out with us, friends. Okay, I see a lot of love for Connor. I'm feeling a little bit of a bias around here. I also like Connor. And let's keep it going. What other characters stick out to us as our favorites? And
Reformed Ocelot has a cool piece of feedback saying, just wanted to leave some feedback on what makes a branching narrative game stand out.
Yes, please.
I think a big one that is often overlooked is how characters react to your decision. A character that feels different depending on the choices is big for replay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
And that's what I think Connor especially does very, very well. Because he can go in such radically different directions.
I do think that Connor is, of the three protagonists, the most bending, because the other two will deviate no matter what.
Yes.
Whereas Connor could stay on the other side. All right, I kind of want to do another poll without Connor on it.
Let's talk about Connor because he's...
Okay, we'll talk about Connor. You guys want... Let me guess.
Let's talk about Connor.
You guys are down to talk about Connor.
All right.
All right. Anybody else wants to vote? Please type 1 through 10 in the chat real quick just to round out our poll, and then I'm going to pause it so we can get into the discussion. And Dappled Silver, thanks for subbing with your Prime friend. Appreciate you. I see K-Space W is back for a whole year, and Fizz Lizardy back for 17 months. Ninja Nina back for 11 months. And Max, thank you for being here. Could Connor drive an F1 car? Yeah. Yeah, he could. And he would go fast but risky. And Dilger, thank you for the gift sub. It's Coral. Welcome back 8 months. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna pause the poll, and we're gonna roll with this.
Okay.
Maybe type down. Let's do like the top 5. Let's discuss Connor. Let's discuss Hank. Let's discuss Marcus. Let's discuss Cara and Kamsky. And then we can get into the other ones as we go.
Okay.
Cool?
Yes.
Alrighty. Sweet. So first up, let's put our boy Connor up here. I'm gonna do like this, and I'm going to switch this out. So if anyone joins in there, discussing Connor. How about like that?
Yeah.
Does this explain? I mean, that kind of breaks it down for people. And so the goal today is going to be to stick to, each topic as we go, and then we'll do our best to kind of loop back to anything that we miss. Yes, I've cosplayed as Connor before. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
He's got a really cool jacket, quite candidly.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Connor's a really cool character. He's obviously very handsome. I think he's very handsome. So I want to talk about what makes Connor such a cool character.
What works?
Yeah, what
Let's
works.
talk about what works. Let's just as a small disclaimer, I'm not someone with a ton of pet peeves. One of my pet peeves, though, is people that go in on games or movies that they don't enjoy and then spend a ton of their life force with things they don't like. I think that it's really important to... You can pause the chat. You know how to do that.
Yeah.
I think that he's pretty. Okay. Geez. Hey, Ma. I knew you were here. The main thing is let's focus on what works, or let's talk about what doesn't work, as opposed to things being good or bad, evaluative stuff. Let's talk about their function in the game. What works for the character's function in the game?
Okay, so I'm seeing that he's very relatable.
Okay.
And he is smart yet also kind of naive.
Okay.
Relatable. Smart yet naive.
I think that I see his relationship with Hank, right?
That he's funny. So I definitely agree that comedy is a very important aspect, especially when you're dealing with very high stakes story themes that you need to be able to break it up with comedy.
I will say that is one thing while working on the script that I thought was really important when we were working on it, because everything was really, really serious and a tragedy. Like, there's a lot of tragic stuff that happens in Detroit Become Human.
Moral and mental duality.
Ooh, duality. Moral and mental. I'm going to put that. That's nice. Okay, there's 5 things.
He can go so the extremes. So that's the same thing of the extremes of being really being
more
good
goal.
or very bad.
Okay, okay. So duality, I'm gonna leave up as 1, but the extremes, the duality.
His sense of humor.
Okay.
Experiencing the world for the very first time.
Naivete kind of a thing,
so
right?
The naive.
Like, smart yet naive.
So Fire, he says that I love how if you choose the deviant choices, he becomes more human in little ways, such as his mannerisms and how he'll sometimes copy Hank's body language. Or if you choose the machine, he becomes the epitome of the cold, emotionless robot. Cool. So I think what I'm getting from that is that
I'm glad that worked.
is that the choices, you can see your choices having an incremental impact on the character that you meet in the very end.
Right.
So
I will share with anybody who's working on a game or would like to be working in performance capture or work on a character like this. One of the things that I think was instrumental in accomplishing that slight thing was color coding my script and breaking it down like layers of a transparency or layers in Photoshop, so that the player is going to choose, do they play this scene more red and machine, or do they play this scene more empathetic and what I considered green Connor? And so if you played and you made green choice, green choice, green choice, green choice, looking all the way through it, it's a very green experience or a green playthrough versus a red and red and red and red choices. You have a very red experience. And then if you did alternate, every single scene you chose to go back and forth, by the end you get this kind of like muddy brown, like what kind of Connor is that? Ambiguous Connor,
So I also really like what Dan Shield says, is that he's like a blank slate at the beginning, and then you put your own personality onto it.
Oh yeah,
blank slate at beginning.
I'm gonna put that. I think that's a big part of it. I think that's a big part of what gives the player the agency to feel like it's their Connor. Because what I really like is that each of you who've played the game have a different Connor that you've created, and you have to create him over all these different chapters.
Yeah. So definitely I'm seeing more love for his naivete and kind of social awkwardness.
Right.
Which I think a lot of us can relate to.
Right.
The relationship to Hank. So this, he's another version of John Wick, so he can be really badass.
Oh yeah,
so
just badass.
Maybe also the juxtaposition of him being super badass, but also kind of socially awkward at the same time.
I've seen a meme or two, and apparently cinnamon rolls can kill you.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibility of growth.
Interesting. I'm not going to do too many because I don't want to water it down, your different choices, but let me pull this up and we'll keep discussing as we go. This poll's so big.
I know, I love it.
Y'all got a lot of ideas. Hold a second. And thank you all for your excitement.
I know. Thank you so much for games clubbing with us. This is so much fun.
You're helping us get massive amounts of brainstorming done in like a very deliberate way. So this is like a really cool thing. Type a 1 in the chat if it has to do with him being intelligent yet naive, right? Or he's relatable. Is it the duo with Hank, the relationship changing up and down with Hank? 4 could be for the comedy or the comedic relief that breaks up the story. 5, duality, his moral duality or his mental duality. A lot of these are kind of similar, blank slate to begin with, the sense of a character that you're creating from the top down. And number 7, he's badass, but he's also sweet. Western Dakota, thank you for this big cheers. Cool. We'll pin this and chat about when we get into Kamsky.
Yeah.
Lucifer, welcome back for 40 months. Yo!
Whoa, welcome back.
Lucifer was here from the very first playthrough. And Chibi Prussia, thank you for the cheers. Hagu7, thank you for the gift sub to Aiden. Ezreal, thank you for using your Prime. And Brooke Strife, appreciate you. Oh, Linda Ross, thank you for the raid of 28. Please tell me that you all waited for that last 28th person to get here before you rated. That's very sweet of you. And McFizzy, good old McFizzy, back for that 41 months.
Woot woot.
Appreciate you, friend. Thank you for being here with us. That's amazing. Deems, welcome back to 42 months for you too. Appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna pause this up here.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to vote? Now's a good chance to do it.
Yeah, Lover Amora is back for 4 months and says that the small input of the game, the thing that they loved the most was how the characters bend to your decision making, either becoming more distant or closer to you. So
Yes. And one thing too, I'm going to throw this out while y'all finish with the poll. We've played a good number of branching narrative games. I mean, really, we've leaned into that for our streams. The thing that I've observed in other branching narrative games is the community or the world's point of view about the playable character changing my feeling about playing that character with the controller in my hand. So Marcus experiences some prejudice in his first scene, right, where he's seeing the people protesting against androids. He's hearing the preacher preaching against androids. He's really walking out into a world that doesn't really like him or doesn't want to respond to him in a respectful way. And so when it comes to Connor, one of the things that I think was an advantage to Connor's character was that why aren't you sending a real person? There was a little element of he's an android. He doesn't, the worldview point of view on androids, but he was prototype, most advanced android, comes into the scene and people are like, we need your help. Will you help us? Yeah. Let's go. Which is very different than some other branching narrative games or any games that we've played where it's oh, you're back, protagonist? Ew. And so I'm 10 minutes into the game and I'm everybody in this town hates me.
Yeah.
Or when you're going back to the world and you the world doesn't want you there, makes it harder for me unless I'm in a very certain kind of mood to be fuck the man, I'm gonna make them deal with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems that the things that y'all are most excited about,
with Hank.
Yeah, the relationship with Hank. And then followed pretty closely by the duality. So the very different versions of the character you can get depending on the choices that you make.
Right. And then this notion that it's a blank slate to begin with, the element of character creation over the course of the game. This is really interesting.
And then duality.
So, Jendi is asking an interesting question. Do you know why there's a 3-month gap between the initial mission and being teamed up with Hank? So, CyberLife created the androids who are going deviant, and they also created the inspector, the investigator, to go out and see what's happening. It's a little bit like when, your air conditioner breaks and then the company that made the air conditioner sends somebody out, a representative, to do the diagnostics on it. Mm-hmm. So Connor's prototype android was created for that, for the purpose of, a couple of these androids are starting to go deviant and we don't know what's going on. And the rooftop scene with Daniel was the first instance where Connor is deployed and they're like, okay, let's try out this new service technician, detective, investigator, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. But it's not until a few months later that this has become such a widespread thing that it's not just the CyberLife people that know about some of their androids are going deviant and we got to watch out for this and take care of this mess. It's the world at large is starting to go. The police are going, this is repeating itself. This isn't just a one-time thing. This is happening over and over and over again. So then it gets big enough of an issue where the cops are starting to pay attention to it as well. Mm-hmm. So that, I think, is the difference, is basically those 3 months in between when or however much time between is kind of the buildup of the deviants, all the deviants in those files, right?
Okay.
So past those 3 things... the other ones are more of character essences, being smart or being naive. Yeah. So those are a little more dealer's choicey.
So, let me see what this is.
So many good thoughts, you guys. This is really incredible.
Yeah.
I can't believe how articulate some of you are with these messages. What is that? Go ahead and read out.
Okay, so
this is from Hyrule Shelves.
Hyrule Shelves says, I think being able to see the character growth from the ground up with Connor was super unique. With Marcus and Cara, they both already had a prior life experiences that we could base our opinions off, like the repair shop or the accident with Cara. And Marcus already being part of Carl's daily life, but we play Connor fresh off the press. We truly get to mold him into the character that we want him to become.
Cool. Cool.
So the blank slate.
The blank slate thing is big. Here's a question. Do you guys think that can only be done like with an android? Like how do you do that with a human character, right? I mean, because there is that. There is like you can create an adult android, just comes off the assembly line and he's got like no memories and no experience besides amnesia, memory loss. Interesting.
Yeah. Coming of age.
Yeah. So you're discovering like your new self. It's more of an evolution. Oh, by the way, total non sequitur. Team, we had a couple of packs of Pokemon cards laying around.
Gaining a new power, yes.
Speaking of gaining new powers, I just gotta say, speaking of evolutions, I gotta nerd out for just a second. Look what I pulled. Look at this. This happened last night. Charizard VMAX out of the darkness ablaze. I'm so hyped about it. I just want you all to know. I literally got this and I brought it just to show you. Okay. Anyway, if you want to talk Pokemon cards, get at me on Twitter and Instagram.
It's still a little out of focus.
Well, maybe you're leaning back a little too far.
No.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so
bro.
Starting a new job, moving somewhere new, supernatural stuff like traveling to a new time.
Yeah, the definitely starting off with something new really helps. Arc Seraphim asks, was Connor a difficult character to get into? For me, the coolest part about that project was exploring the minutia of the physical life, so that how androidy could we be, how robotic could we be in the beginning without it feeling like a cartoon of a robot, and then how human can he get before it feels like he's not an android anymore. So for me, that was the thing I paid the most difficulty, I guess, was in kind of getting into the physical minutia about it. I see the small fish in the big pond. Yeah. Tropes seem... Okay, so that's another thing we'll talk a little bit later. Themes, tropes, kind of like recurring world of things that we see a lot. Very interesting. Let's set Connor down for a second. I love him. Next. Who is our next character that we're going to discuss? And because I want to see if there's some similarities here.
Hank.
Okay, so what we liked about Connor was Hank. So what do we like about Hank? Let's get into discussing Hank. Shout out some things that you think really work with the character of Hank. And don't just say Connor.
The sarcasm.
Okay.
His backstory.
Okay.
His troubled past. How he's unpredictable.
Okay.
How Hank becomes curious because of Connor. Either good or bad. So he's having a very strong reaction to the choices that you are making as the player. His character development, like either how he grows more close with Connor or he becomes more like fuck off with Connor.
I'm going to put that all under changes caused by the player.
Yes.
And it's the reaction, the response that you get out of him. I think that's a big thing.
Also, I saw that he's not quite good and he's not quite bad, so he lives in this morally gray area.
Gray ambiguity.
He's flawed, yeah. Which I think is really strong. His sense of humor, his sarcasm, he's a great foil to Connor.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I mean, I'll wait until after we do the poll to do the thing.
He's a father figure. The way his views change and how he has a secret. And the chemistry between the two.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I
think that's a good place.
I'm gonna start with these 7 and let's get into it there. When it comes to Hank, please give me the number one thing that works for you. Is it that you really enjoy his sarcasm, his personality, the backstory, his past? Do you like that he is unpredictable? Type of 3 in the chat. Type of 4 if it's about the changes that are caused by the player or Connor playing with him. 5, morally gray. He's ambiguous, flawed. 6, that you like the archetype of the father figure. Or number 7, he has a secret. What do you think, team? And Gina, Gina.
Hey, it's your birthday.
Happy birthday, Gina.
Happy birthday, Gina.
There's a birthday hug on that, Gina.
Aww.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes.
Thank you for being an awesome mammal.
I hope your day is stupendous.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty cool thing to be doing on your birthday. This is,
Morally
I'm feeling good about this.
Father figure.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the main
secret.
Yeah, the main thing's the main thing. Schaub has an interesting question here, or a statement. Something that attaches me to Connor is the relationship with Amanda. As someone with schizophrenia, I happen to relate to him. He is stuck with Amanda no matter what, and he is always scared of her judgment. He wants her to trust him, and he feels like he has to obey her or he won't survive. Throughout the game, he learns how to get over what she says and to act all by himself. Interesting.
So again, it's this push and pull, the duality of where your allegiances lie.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, while we're on the subject of Connor and Hank, one of the things that I think is really cool about video games and be in immersive theater and immersive storytelling is that you get this sense that the world that you're creating or the world that you're viewing, the world you're playing in is a reflection of your own life, your own circumstances. And what's been really fascinating to me, Amelia and I have traveled to 12 different countries to meet with people at conventions, and we've got a lot of letters from even more countries than that, and we talk to you guys on stream all the time. There are so many different interpretations of so many different elements of this game. And to me, I think that's one of the things for our game that we got to really focus on is like, how can it be that something really... You were there when we came to Thailand! Yeah! Honey capable, yes! It was so fun to go to Thailand. Thailand was our first big one. That was where we went out of the country
I think
together.
that was the first time, the first time we traveled, out of the country.
As a married pair. I don't even know where I was going. This sort of like, not a blank slate, but that it's like you can read into the aspects of the relationships and the characters in the story, what resonates with you. You know, like what part of that seems valuable to you.
Yeah.
So it looks like the number one thing when it comes to Hank is those changes caused by the player. And it's true, because you can end up with a very sweet or very dead Hank. You've got 40% of you say that's the number one thing. And then the next thing is that he is ambiguous. He is morally gray. He's flawed. So we don't want him to be a perfect hero character. We enjoy that he is not perfect. We like his backstory, and that he has a past. I think makes him a real relatable character. I think those are the top three.
Okay.
Sticking. Awesome! Thank you all for this feedback. Again, for anybody just joining us, you are at Dechart Games Club, first ever Dechart Games Club, where we're doing it like a book club. If you've played one of these games with us, we are going to be exploring them in depth. Whoops, wrong button. We're going to do Resident Evil on January 21st and Until Dawn on February 4th, and then we'll discuss Horizon Zero Dawn after we complete that in February, before we start playing Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get into who was our next one. I think
Marcus.
it was Marcus. Okay, so let's discuss Marcus. What is it that we like and works about the character of Marcus?
Yeah.
And we're going to do a similar poll again where we boil it down to our top 3 favorite things.
His art.
He's hot.
I agree. I really loved getting to create artwork as Marcus, especially like the piano or the artwork.
Can I call him he has an artist's soul? He is badass.
His relationship with Carl.
Okay.
His influence on the story world.
That's a great thing. His influence on the Marcus really is. I mean, in my opinion of the game, I always thought of Connor as a supporting character to Marcus's arc, and then in the playthrough, it can feel different depending on where you put your attention. But when we were working on the script, I always very much saw Connor as a supporting character to Marcus, and so his influence or choices impacting the bigger world.
Yeah.
Right?
So there's also the duality again of like, what kind of activist are you going to be? Are you going to take a more violent approach, or are you going to take a more peaceful approach? And that has a trickle down effect for literally everybody in the game will have a strong opinion based on the choices that you make as Marcus.
Right. Give me, what did we do for Hank? 7? So give me like 3 more things.
His inner struggles.
Yes.
How he's constantly questioning if he's making the right choice or not.
And he's got, kind of got like the angel and the devil on each shoulder, right? With,
and that he's a leader. So I'm seeing leadership. So everybody's coming to you saying, what are we going to do, player? Are we gonna go this way? Are we gonna go this way? I want to go violent. I want to go peaceful.
Yeah.
Which one do we do? And then you're the one that makes the choice.
Right. The buck stops with them.
Yeah.
Give me one more. One more. Debo says his guilt. So I think I'm gonna put that in his inner struggles with the conflicted thing. But yeah, that is a very interesting part of him. Let's see. What do we got? His trauma.
His journey into becoming a leader, his rise, his ascension.
I think, fighting for freedom. I mean, how can you...
Yeah.
You can't...
He listens.
He is a good listener. I guess depending on how the player goes. Yeah. But Marcus, I mean, if nobody were to touch it, he made breakfast. He did make breakfast. I'm going to pull these so they all fit on screen.
Yeah.
When it comes to Marcus, please tell me what is the thing that sticks out to you above all the others, okay? Number 1, is it that he has an artist's soul. You like that he is an artistic character. He sings, he paints, he plays piano, he plays chess. He's designed to be a help for Carl. Do you like how badass he is when he's got his Final Fantasy coat? I love that. Number 3, his relationship to Carl. So this is a little bit, the
father figure as well, similar to
the dynamic with. I do think that in most of the games that we've played, the supporting character who's right there next to our protagonist is often one of the most beloved. Like, what was it? Jonah in the Tomb Raider franchise. Like for me, the most recent trilogy, I really love Jonah as a character, and that's so much because of the relationship between the two of them. Number 4 in the chat for his influence. His choices impacting the story world, like literally changing the world in 2038 when the game takes place. Number 5, inner struggles, that he is conflicted. He doesn't always know what to do. Number 6, he's a leader. You like him for being a leader. And number 7, it is important to you, his fight for freedom. Very interesting. This is a lot of good feedback, team. Our Animate, welcome back for 6 months. Fearless Geek, welcome back for 20 months. Thank you, everybody, for voting in this poll.
Yes.
Really super appreciate you. We'll do Marcus, and why don't we do Cara?
Yeah.
And then when we come back, we will continue with kind of another phase. We'll get into maybe more themes or tropes or game mechanics.
Yeah.
And talk about the kind of stuff that's a little more video game specific. Because right now, the things that we're discussing about characters and story could be true of a TV show. But I'm noticing the ones that are sticking out to you all include the changing duality.
Yeah.
That's, in my opinion, Detroit Become Human is not a TV show. That'll probably get clipped and put on Reddit. But, it's just not. Because if you take away the element of the player playing, then you take away the character, Vishalia, the agency in the game. All right, last chance to vote. Anybody wants to type 1 through 7 in the chat? Let's get it going. It's his influence. It's tied.
Yeah, it's tied with his influence and how his choices impact the story world and his inner struggles. All right.
And then followed by his relationship to Carl, which bleeds into his fight for freedom and his artistic soul. Very cool. Very cool. Marcus gives people a grounded perspective. I see a lot of cool discussion going back and forth here. Wow. You like that? This is cool. So Plants Baby says, comparing the characters, I like that Marcus has such a huge role in the world, while Cara is relatively much smaller. Very different stakes with the same emotional weight. I think that's a really good point, Plants, that the scale, we learn about the world on kind of 3 different scales, spectrums. I think Marcus is the big picture world of, dealing with the public opinion, dealing with the authorities, dealing with kind of like the perception of androids in the world. And then you've got Connor, who I think is somewhere like in the medium scale, who has more to do with like each individual case, but that they're all connected. So he's trying to like piece together this middle tier. And then Cara is the one who's experiencing it like most like, I mean, honestly, if anybody was going to break and really speak against the negative experiences of androids, it would be Cara that has the worst deal of it. But she's dealing with the sort of human to human, moment to moment stuff, keeping Alice safe and taking care of herself and like learning about the story as we go. But I think that's a really important distinction that I have never really wrapped my mind around, so thank you.
Hyrule Shelb says, the biggest thing about Marcus that was awesome for me was seeing him question his own decisions near the end of the game. He never asked to be a martyr for the androids, but accepts that he has a certain spark about him that not everyone has or can have. So to see him have a sliver of self-doubt was refreshing compared to how most games give their protagonist an unwavering confidence in their own ability to lead. So it's questioning himself.
Yeah. I do think, I gotta say that that's something that's been really cool about playing the game multiple times, is realizing that there's a lot of nuance in the result of our choices, really, is what it is. It's not just like, it's not like a game where it's like you push A enough times, then you get the good ending, and you push B enough times, you get a bad ending. It's like you kind of can't. It's a tragedy. I mean, the reality is there's only so much of a good ending that's possible, and what you view as a good ending is also up for a lot of debate.
Well, it also seems that I agree that the thing that stands out about Marcus is that though he is this leader, though he is this badass artistic guy, he is constantly questioning his decisions, and
he's being pushed and pulled in two directions.
And he's questioning himself, and that I think is very relatable, because I don't know about you, but I am often questioning myself and the choices that I'm making, and if it's the right one. So I think that makes him very human.
That's probably one of the most human things. I mean,
he's
really
like the tide.
Is to because I mean, one of the things that differentiates us from animals is, well, I think there's two main ones that we put into Connor, or I tried to deliberately put into Connor, differentiating artificial intelligence from humans, in that computers are not super great at common sense. A computer can't just innately understand that you can use a string to pull something, but you can't use a string to push something. But humans just know this, common sense. However, if humans are looking at a plug or a cloud or a rock, we can see human faces. We love recognizing patterns. So humans are also really good pattern finders. So in order for a computer to deviate and become human, they would have to wrap their mind around common sense and wrap their mind around pattern recognition like humans do. And so what I think is really cool is that Cara and Marcus are both further along in that evolution. They seem a little more human from the beginning, because that they're I don't know, this sort of what's the best way to put it? Gosh. Sometimes every now and then I read something really interesting in chat, and then I'm like, my brain goes away.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of people are already starting to discuss Cara. So let's talk about Cara. So, in your opinion, what is the best thing about Cara as a character? What is her strongest? What's the strongest part about Cara and her story arc?
I'm gonna say what works best. What works best in Cara?
Her empathy.
I see empathy right off the top.
She's a mother. Mama bear, maternal instincts, kindness.
Okay.
Her protectiveness.
Nice.
Empathy.
Yeah, empathy. We've got that for perseverance.
Unconditional love. Her identity hinges on her relationships.
Huh.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Oh, man. Her identity hinges on her relationships.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, or is that what she breaks away from?
Well, it seems that her most her strongest relationship is to Alice.
Absolutely.
And you know, whether or not Alice is feeling safe, Alice is feeling protected. So her bond with she's a good problem solver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that too.
Her intuition. Yes. However, there was that one scene in the
Zlatko,
which from the very beginning I was like, this feels real sketch. Don't go down there, but you have to.
Okay. So I got to bring this up because I did actually raise my hand and talk to both the director and the producer of this game about this. I said, I, as the player, as Cara, walked up to Zlatko's door and felt bad about it.
I was like, nah.
I did not want to go in that door. And I said, if you guys made a truly branching game, couldn't Cara just walk away from that door? And they said, and I agree with this now, so let's discussing Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, team. We are now discussing Cara. There we go. Thank you for that. The discussion ultimately boiled down to one of the confines of a branching narrative game is there are some things that must absolutely happen because otherwise the whole illusion falls apart. And they replied to me, which I thought was actually pretty clever. They said, well, what if in the very beginning of the game, Connor wanted to push a different floor and just went to a different part of the building and never even went up to the rooftop?
He's just like, nah.
What if Connor was supposed to report to work at the police station for the first day and just walked into the river? So like the truth is there always has to be some fixed point in order for the branching narrative to go. So I think that this is a big question as we get into Cara here. Let's
Yeah, I'm saying also Oni says that she's kind of blinded by her dreams, which is a cool perspective.
That's interesting.
So she has this idealistic view of how things could be,
right?
Even though she's had a very traumatic past. An unreliable narrator.
I'm gonna pull with these because I think we should stick to the ones that are coming up the most consistently.
Okay.
Tell me about Cara while we discuss this here a little bit.
Yeah, what are the things that work the best about her? Is it her empathy? Is it how she's a mother figure, how she's very caring, empathetic, that she's protective, her perseverance through all of the obstacles that come in her way, or her problem solving?
Yeah. We do have to do a lot of figuring. And I do think that, like the instance where you're trying to find out where to hide for the night, I do think that Cara problem solving what to do in that scene where she and Alice first get off the bus and set into the world together, I do think that that's actually the most, correct me if I'm wrong, team, is that the most open world part of this game? I guess so. You can choose either to go in this. You'll have a very different path if you choose to go and rob the supermarket there, or you can steal the clothes at the laundromat, or you can go and sleep in the car, right,
or you can go and meet Ralph. So those are four different options.
Yeah, and I know it's not an open world game, but there are more open parts of it where you can go a little bit more off-roading, even though there is like an edge of the town that you can explore in the game. But this is something that I think is really important when we were talking about the branchingness of it, that if a character has to go through a fixed point so that the game can happen, so that you can get to the end, I feel like those fixed points have to be narratively justified fixed points as to why they must happen. And if you can't, I think what it is that when Cara deviates and breaks the red wall, then in my mind as a player, she's deviated and it's like a binary thing. It's like you're either still an android.
You're either gonna go talk to Todd about his anger,
right,
or you're gonna break it,
or you're gonna GTFO and deviate, right?
Yeah.
So once she's deviated, I want to feel the sense that I could do or not do stuff. I think in the writing and kind of all of the arc, there's like a ramp up to how deviated she can be. So I don't know if that's just an interpretation thing, if it's just me as a player wanting to like always do stuff I'm not supposed to do. But like I always want to do stuff I can't do in games. I always run to the edge of maps in games. I love seeing what happens when like you can't go any further, and does the game just like pick your ass up and turn you around, and usually it's just like nope. But I think that when it comes to game engines, we can get more into that kind of stuff later. But I don't know, the point for me, I guess, is like, if you are trying to make sure the player experiences something so that all of that stuff can happen, it's got to be narratively justified that she doesn't have enough of her deviant faculty. She's been like, she could be a deviant, but she's still been doing what she's told.
Carly Trix has a good point, saying that Cara is the character with the most different endings and the most kills, so she can die in the most different ways, or she can has so many branching things.
Whoa.
But most of the players follow the same moral line, so she's on a more, doesn't have as much of a maybe the character, how she's her arc and what her motivation makes it so that the players are just generally choosing the same choice. So it's not as much of a difference. More people are getting the same Cara in the end. Right.
Well, and she got the note from the one android who was like, "Go here, talk to this guy Zlatko. He will make you he will help you cross the was the plan, right? Was to help kind of get her to freedom."
Maybe Connor does die more.
I don't know. I've killed Connor a lot of ways, team.
But he always comes back is the different thing.
He does always come back.
Cara doesn't come back.
Which, by the way, Katie Rose made a mention about the... remember how we were talking about if Connor saves the rooftop tourniquet cop, that he can have that experience in Stratford Tower? Apparently, this is true also, that even if you save him, that if Connor dies too many times, and the cop is like, "You saved me on the roof," Connor's like, "I know what you're talking about." Which I think is pretty cool. So it looks like her perseverance is the number one thing that we enjoy about Cara, and also the mother figure archetype, which is very interesting. I will take a moment on this. I saw some really cool gender bending. I don't know if it was. I mean, I guess it's. Does that count as gender bending? I guess it's more of role reversal of a proposal of what would it be like if Cara was the detective, the android detective, and Connor was the caretaker android. And I think that maybe one of the things why that's not the other way around is that Marcus is also a kind of a caretaker android. I mean, that's like why we use androids. Like, we just got a new dishwasher, and I'll tell you what, and Cara didn't order it, but we got a new dishwasher, and our other one was absolutely garbage, and has changed our point of view about it. But the reason why we got a new dishwasher and the other one got upset because it was going to be replaced was that we needed help from it. So a lot of these androids are starting off in those kind of helpful roles, because that's what we would ask of an android. I mean, that's what we ask of all of our machines. That's why I use any of the gear that's in here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
So I have one more question while we're on characters. And this is just for us more in the world of us kind of brainstorming our game.
It's so cool to say that to you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, y'all know now. Number of playable characters.
Yes. So Detroit has 3 playable characters. So you switch off where you're playing as Connor, and then you play as Cara, and then you play as Marcus, and you have different points of view for each of them, versus something like Life is Strange, where you only play as Max or as Alex, or
a game like Last of Us Part 2, where you play as 2 characters and you're on both sides of a thing. Let me know what you close your eyes, you imagine the perfect video game,
the bending narrative game,
specifically a branching narrative game. Number of playable characters. Do you have one character that you play and you feel all of those changes from one point of view?
Like Life is Strange.
Yeah, so more like role playing. Number 2, you're role playing as 2 different characters, and you're probably on 2 sides of a line. You've got 3, like Detroit Become Human has, so you're experiencing a bunch of different things about the world, but it's like a little more of a diorama.
Yes.
Is what I call it.
Yeah.
Or 4, or type 4 in the chat for More, which is a game like the Dark Picture anthologies, all the Supermassive games like Until Dawn. Where you are going to be in control of a bunch of different characters. So it really is like kind of like playing with your action figures and moving them all around.
Yeah.
Let me know, team. What do you like? How many playable characters are in your favorite game? 1, 2, or 3.
Western
or
Dakota
more?
says that they don't want to vote on this because they personally believe it depends on the plot. Okay.
Very good. That's a good point. It
Yeah.
definitely has to be motivated by the plot. Very interesting. I'm going to leave this up and running while we do it. Type 1, 2, or 3 into the chat. 4 for more if you like. Amelia and I, excuse me, I got the hiccups. I need to get some water because I've been talking too much. And thanks, Twitch, for the water bottle. And if you guys would like to retweet to invite your friends, now's a good time to do so. Amelia and I are going to take a 5-minute break. And when we come back, let's get into themes, tropes, archetypes. And let's start to compare some of these things to other video games that we've played. So spoilers are okay about Detroit Become Human, just so we don't ruin anybody's gaming experience. Let's keep out the spoilers and any kind of like end game stuff of other video games. What about Kamsky, though? We can talk about Kamsky. But I just want to keep moving us through categories so we don't just only chat about characters for 3 hours. Because I could totally talk about these characters for a very long time.
Also, Choco Puffin!
Choco Puffin!
Thank you so much!
Yo, big hug! Big hug, Choco!
Thanks, Choco Puffin!
Thank you for hanging out with us, friends.
Also, Pink Lightning!
Whoa, Pink
25.
Lightning!
Thank you
Pink
so
Lightning.
much!
Can I hit you with some sparkles?
Yes.
Okay, Pink Lightning is going to be a little something like this. Let me go to the other screen. Oh, here we go. Sparkle 'em!
Pink Lightning!
Yeah! Thank you! Appreciate your good vibes. Discussing Cara. Now discussing Cara.
And yes, this is Sumo on my hoodie. If you like it, it is cozy and soft. You can get it on our...
Exclamation point merch in the chat. We'll get you the link for both my Deviant, as my Deviant shirt. Go your own way, you know, be the red bird. And, you know, good old...
Sumo.
Good old I Like Dogs. There's some other stuff up there, too. We got some beanies and things, too. Our Play the Positive merch. And, of course, we are alive. We'll see you on the other side, team. Thank you for being here. And when we come back, we'll discuss more Detroit Become Human. We'll see you in 5. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being here for
our-
Dechart Games Club.
Our first ever Dechart Games Club.
The first ever.
Where every other week we're going to be diving into the games that we love the most, because we are developing our own video game and we want to take the pieces of the games that we love the most and bring them into our game.
Yes, thank you to everybody who has recommended a game for us. We have a panel like this, and a lot of you have given us some pro tips on what games to play. We've got a YouTube channel for a lot of our playlists up on our YouTube channel, so if you'd like to check out any of our past playthroughs of any of these games that we've mentioned, you can see them on our YouTube channel. And it's worth mentioning there will be more Dechart Games Club. Tell them, Amelia.
Oh yes, okay, on January 21st, we are going to be diving into Resident Evil. We have played Resident Evil 2 Remake and Village, and we want to talk about that. Then on February 4th, we're going to be talking about Until Dawn, and February 18th, after we have finished Horizon Zero Dawn, we're going to be talking about it here on Games Club.
Yep. Oh, by the way,
What?
Sunday we're starting Mass Effect 3.
Oh, Saturday.
Saturday,
We're starting Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition and continuing Horizon.
That's tomorrow, team. That's tomorrow. That's
yeah.
literally tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Yo, thank you for the gifted subs. Appreciate you. And let me say what up. We also have a cool prize. I've got a bunch of awesome Detroit Become Human stuff.
Yes.
So I put together a little Detroit Become Human loot box that we're going to give away as our prize to somebody who's here on the stream. So if you're a subscriber, thank you. You are welcomed with 5 times entry in our giveaway. And, Breath of the Wild Dechart Games Book Club, Dechart Games Club. Yes.
Yeah.
And 10 times entry for all these awesome people who give, Grand Hoff Tarkin.
Hey.
Grand Hoff, do you see? Come get your boy, Grand Hoff.
He's chilling. He's stoked. He's excited about Games Club.
Yo, get your boy. Get your boy. Vader's looking at you. _ thank you for being here for 5 months. And Kenadryan, thank you for the gift sub to Inhuman Kai. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us, everybody. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
We have the game loaded up too. If we need to like,
if we wanted to go to
if we need to
spot.
like, if y'all just want to, whoa, this feels good.
Yeah.
If you ever just want to like, I don't know,
Talk to Chloe.
Talk to Chloe. Hi, Chloe.
So far we have talked about the different characters because we asked you what makes Detroit, what do you love the most about Detroit? And the top choice was character development, followed by choices having consequences, and the branching endings. So we, in the first hour, discussed Connor and what makes him so awesome, which seemed to be that he's a blank slate from the very beginning, so you get to project onto him what kind of character he's going to be on the end, and the duality that he has. He can either be badass machine or a beautiful human being. Then we also talked about, and also his relationship with Hank. And the thing that you all loved the most about Hank was that was how he changed depending on the choices that you made as Connor. Either he became more gushy and more lovable, or he became more standoffish, and his small reactions to the little choices that you made as Connor. And you also loved that he was morally gray, and he had a very strong traumatic backstory.
Yeah, we learned more about him as we went.
Then we talked about Marcus, and the things that you loved the most were that how his influence and his choices impact the story world. Like, so the choices that you make as Marcus are going to have a huge impact on all the characters in the game, and his inner struggles, how he's constantly questioning himself. He's not sure that he's making the right choice, so he's in a lot of inner turmoil. And then we talked about Cara, and the thing that you all loved the most about her was her perseverance and how she was a mother figure, her empathy, and how protective she was. So cool. Let's put up here a little now discussing thing like this. We're going to switch it up. And I'm going to go for a little bit of world of kind of a thing. Let's discuss, and then I'll read some. I see you all discussing this in the chat, so I'm going to throw this up there real quick. Did you free Chloe? Did you free Chloe? Type a 1 in the chat if you did. Type a 2 in the chat if you did not. Just as an aside. And I'm going to get into themes and tropes. Right? Tropes. There we go. And just to define it, let me read you guys a little bit of something here. Just to get into kind of the next category. We started the first hour with talking about a kind of an overview and then getting into some of the characters and some of the relationships. But let's talk about some themes and tropes. And when it comes to storytelling, what is a trope? A trope is a figurative or metaphorical use of a word or expression. So these are things that we may have seen repeat themselves in storytelling, like archetypes. Archetypes are a recurrent symbol or motif in literature, art, or mythology. So an archetype could be the wizard, the orphan, right? We understand this. The father.
The witch, right? And then when it comes to themes, what we're talking about, I'm going to see if we can get define themes narratively. That's Thames, which is a river. A theme is the subject of talk. The subject we're talking about, basically, like what is the essence of what it is that we like about the game.
Also, hey Earl.
Hey Earl.
How you doing?
That's that Earl?
That's that Earl of Sandwich.
That's Earl. How you doing? I see you dropping that mother maiden crone in the chat. Dude.
If you haven't followed our friend Earl of Sandwich yet, please do. He's an awesome human being. You may know him as Norio, the warrior monk from Ghost of Tsushima.
And I know him as the candle that I have in our place. That has actually Norio looking like a saint.
Yes.
And we light that candle when we need to summon some of Earl's energy.
We do.
All right, thank you to everybody who released Chloe out into the wild.
Also, I want to say, welcome back for 40 months, Sick Parvis 87. How you doing, Sick Parvis? And Emma,
Sick Parvis!
Sick Parvis!
Sick Parvis and Emma Smurf back for 10 months.
Smurf!
And Western Dakota. And Coffee Cats. What's going on? Thank you for being here for 8 months. If you resubscribe today, we'll say your name in a weird way. Let's discuss the themes and tropes or archetypes of the game.
Okay.
So when we're talking about Detroit Become Human, what are your favorite themes, tropes, or archetypes? Okay. I see Renovanon says, I'm not sure if it counts as a trope, but I love how all 3 playable characters are represent a main role in the ancient Greek play. Protagonist, Durapagonist, and the Tritonagonist. Wow.
I've never heard those words.
Someone's educating me on this.
Yes.
I love this. Okay, hold on. I want to look about this. Wow.
Duet?
3 roles of ancient Greek play. Oh my gosh, you were so onto this. There was a thing on the board at Quantic when we were working that says this is a Greek tragedy. Like Detroit Become Human is meant to be like a Greek tragedy. And knowing what I know about David, he absolutely loves the humanities and Greek mythology and sort of ancient early human history.
Oops.
So I would not be surprised if ancient Greek.
All right.
Oh my gosh, 3 different. Okay. I digress. That's a brilliant point.
Tropes and themes. I'm seeing humanity. I'm seeing prejudice. Humanity. Prejudice.
Okay, I'm going to put overcoming prejudice because surely there's no one out there who's like, I really love all the prejudice in this game.
Only one.
I understand that.
Found family. I'm seeing empathy, identity.
Identity.
Right versus wrong.
Right versus wrong, and the moral spectrum. I'm going to call that morality.
I'm seeing free will.
Free will. Free will versus
Acceptance.
programming.
Okay.
And
hero's journey.
the hero's journey. And we can go in on that one.
Becoming self-aware. Self-discovery.
Okay, I'm going to put that with identity. Discovering identity. I mean, I think that's a huge one. I think that's really important.
This is more of the tropes and themes, and then maybe we could get into afterwards, separately, the character archetypes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Here we go. 7 will fit. That'll work. Okay, how about this, team? I'll make it nice and visible there. What is it when it comes to Detroit? The tropes, we'll get into the archetypes afterwards, which has more to do with the characters. The tropes has more to do with the story. The theme has more to do with the narrative and the story, whereas the archetypes have more to do with the character. But if you combine those archetypes, you can get different combinations of stories, basically, right? Got a story about a witch and an orphan. It's going to be a very different story than a witch and a hero, or a very different story of a hero and a child, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have one in the chat, if it is about humanity for you. Number 2, overcoming prejudice. I appreciate how some of these may overlap a little bit. 3, about your found family. 4, right versus wrong, the morality question. Number 5, free will versus programming, doing what you're supposed to do versus what you're told to do, or what you want to do. Number 6, the hero's journey, which is a complicated thing we can get into later. And number 7, becoming self-aware, discovering self-identity. Okay, so
which is also interesting because self-aware and discovering your identity ties very much into what you all liked the most about the main 3 characters, which was how your choices shape them and shape everyone, or shapes and then trickles down to the people around them and how they feel about your character.
Right. It's 7.
It's 7.
It's 7.
It is.
It's 7.
Doubt.
There's some other strong ones there though too. It looks like the number 1 is the becoming self-aware and discovering your identity. Which, damn, isn't that a human thing? I mean, like, holy hell, that's like, whether you like it or not, that's like ages 8 through 28. That's like the figuring out like, what kind of a mammal am I? Number 2, we got probably free will and programming just barely beats out the notion of a found family. which I think is really cool for anyone who's curious about that. That's the idea that it's not necessarily the people that you are biologically related to that are your family, but this family of awesome people that you build your world up around. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that you're past 28 and you're working on your self-discovery. But I just mean, like, there's yeah, I'm still figuring it out. But I do feel like I have my mind is much better wrapped around like what makes me tick now. But that doesn't come for free. That takes a lot of work to tinker with. So I'm going to pause it up, but if anybody else wants to vote, now's the chance to throw it up on the screen. But I'm going to say becoming self-aware and discovering self-identity. Maybe I won't do a poll for this one, but because it wins by such a large margin, over 50% of you have chosen this out of these 7 topics. Let's just discuss for a second how is that done? How does that manifest itself in the game of Detroit Become Human?
Yeah, how does it make you?
How do we literally feel and see represented on screen this sense of becoming self-aware? What is that like? Everybody's like, there's some frustration for sure. The trauma, right? Those events, the emotional shock that some of the characters experience.
By events, the circumstances. So, how?
I see the Kamsky test. Oh man. Morality. Connor's software instability. Yeah, I think that's actually how we see it on screen as it's changing. And I didn't know they were going to have those little things. That was an exciting thing to me when we were playing through the game. Okay.
Pain.
Through the reaction of the other characters.
Conflicts.
Yeah, I do think that's huge.
Reaction.
Difficult choices.
Other.
A lot of people saying morality and difficult choices right now, because you really have to weigh what are your priorities if you're going to make a decision to do something. The highs and lows, says Sam Wawa. That's true. Through pain, the public opinion can change. So those status updates. So let's get into that before we switch gears into, because there's so much to discuss, and I really want to make sure. I would rather touch on everything a little bit than just go deep on one question and get lost on it. But speaking of those notifiers, right? So let's get a little more technical now when it comes to the game designing thing. When we're talking about, I'm gonna put up discussing here like this, and I'm gonna say theme. How do we put it? We put discovering identity.
Yeah,
self-aware.
Discovering identity, becoming self-aware.
I'm going to keep it simple with just identity.
Daisy P. Wright says each of the characters has to choose who they want to be, and that's the moment that they deviate. Do I obey, is Marcus? Do I let him harm a child, is Cara? Am I a killer or am I alive, which is Connor?
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So choose who you want to be.
So when it comes to this theme of discovering our identity, technically speaking, right? In the game itself, and I would love to get some of the people that worked on Detroit on stream, or just to talk to them about this, what they were thinking about it going in. But I really think it's the most valuable to get the input from the people that are playing the game. We talk about, like, on screen, it manifests itself in those status updates, the character relationship updates, where we can see, like, Amanda, she's trusting you less.
Yeah.
Public opinion is going up for Marcus, right? So, the best question I want to know is, like, how do we
visualize it?
Or how do we incorporate it, right? Like, how do you have this, how do we know this discovering ourself and our identity thing? We see it visually. You guys like those overlay things, right? What about
the flowcharts?
The flowcharts are huge.
Yeah.
The flowcharts visually make a lot of sense, because then you can feel the bending. Can we talk about the flowcharts?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's get into the flowcharts, because then from there we can go into game mechanics.
Yeah. Also, Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology has a very similar thing too, where you see, like, relationship up, relationship down, so you can tell after the choices that you've made how that is impacting the people around you.
You guys like the flowcharts a lot. You like these indicators, like the public opinion things up and down. Whip out the pegboard and the red yarn. That's right. That's what we'll do in this spot back here. We'll connect all the dots.
So visually seeing how your choices are, how the choices that you make are impacting the story. Visually.
Don't put discussing. Pardon any typos, team. I'm very liable to flow to charts. Oh no. I got good news and I got bad news, everybody. GG Nick D is here. What's up, Nick? Nick is unfortunately here with another pun, team. Get ready for it. Brace yourself, and if you need to use the restroom, now's a good time. What do you call a beehive without an exit? I don't know, Nick. What do you call a beehive without an exit?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What? You guys, Nick stayed up until 4 a.m. writing that joke. Okay, Nick, here's your retaliatory financial advice. Are you ready? Everybody say GG Nick D. Literally. GG Nick D. Gotta go.
GG.
Everybody, please drop a little mod love, not just for the mods and the lieutenants, but put a little mod love on that Nick. GG Nick D. GG. And I'm going to let Nick know that his career as a stand-up comedian is about to blossom.
Yeah.
2022 is the year that Nick does an open mic night somewhere. What do you think, Nick? Come on, you want a headline in Vegas? Let's see what we can get.
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, where were we discussing? The flowcharts.
So we're talking about the flowcharts and visually seeing how to visually represent becoming more self-aware and discovering your identity.
Right. I'm going to switch up. Let me just refresh something here and see if I can get the flowcharts up and running. I did not know that they were going to do the flowchart things, and I really wish there were flowchart things. Like when I was working on the game, it would have made it a lot easier to understand what was coming at me.
Yeah. Kai said, Seeker says flowcharts emotionally manipulate you into choosing specific choices. That's true, because you're like, I gotta do this bad thing in order to get this ending that I'm curious about.
Yes! Okay, so here's a question. Did the flowchart encourage you to play a chapter, or the whole game
in a certain way?
Again. A second time.
Yeah, did it? Yeah.
Type 1 in the chat, yes. 2 in the chat for no. If it was the case... was it the case for you that seeing the flowchart encouraged you to play the game over again? Or to play another scene again? Or to go for like a different outcome? Specifically because of the flowchart. Not just because you're a curious mammal. But because they showed you the other options were out there. Okay, that's that's pretty unanimous. That's a good old 90th percentile or more. Some of y'all are out there like, no, I just made my choice and I did it. Did it change how you felt about how the scene went when you saw where the outcome was on the flowchart? Did anybody have a playthrough where they were like, oh, I'm going to... welcome to the Detroit experience. New story? No.
Chapters.
I think I got to load up my save data.
Okay, so definitely.
Yes.
So seeing that there are choices that you did not uncover encouraged you to want to go back and do it again because you're like, ooh, I want to see what happens with these other things that I haven't quite unlocked.
Right. Okay, so how about this question, though? Can we do a poll about the game mechanics themselves?
Okay.
Because we're going from the flowchart, which is not... That's more of a HUD thing, a heads-up display thing. I don't really consider the flowchart as much of a game mechanic, but it definitely impacted how y'all played the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's made people want to try again.
Flowcharts are love. Flowcharts are life. Okay, game mechanics will be very personal depending on the game, for sure. But on this one, we're talking specifically about Detroit. The integrity of the flowchart is important to K4. Definitely. Oh, hi, Connor on the screen. Oh, yeah, it's Connor. I was adjusting the brightness.
Integrity.
Okay, favorite game mechanics in DBH.
All right. So the game mechanics are the things like R2 to scan, or the quick time events, or the more gamized version of the game that didn't necessarily.
I mean, they're literally the mechanics of the game. So here, let's look for a definition of game mechanics.
The scan.
R2 to scan.
The reconstruction.
Okay. Reconstructing a crime scene.
Mm-hmm. QTEs.
Okay. One second. Crime scene. QTEs, quick time events.
Yes. The ability to change the difficulty.
Okay.
The relationship statuses.
Okay.
Then also with the reconstruction, the predicting. R2 to scan. I mean, I love that.
Oh, yes, the pre-construct, which is what Marcus does before he does all his parkour stuff.
Yeah, pre-construct.
Yeah, okay.
Pre-construct versus reconstruct. Oh, and then there's also the timed choices, where you have only a short period of time to make a choice, instead of like where everything stops and then you can debate back and forth and decide what to do. The ones where you're like, oh, I have to make a choice in a timed.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go for dialogue branches.
Okay.
As well. That's 8. That'll be about as many that are gonna fit. Here, let me adjust it a little bit.
Those are so stressful, but in a good way or in a bad way.
All right, team.
Sometimes there's good stress.
These are all just some example of the game mechanics. Basically, these are the rules that govern and guide the player's actions. So these are ways that basically we interact with the game and the game interacts with us. Being able to move a variable amount of spaces, these kind of things.
In a good way.
There's a lot of info on this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get lost on this Wikipedia later.
Yeah.
I'm saving
so
this.
R2 to Android scan.
Yeah, 1 in the chat for R2 to Android scan.
2 for reconstructing the crime scene.
Right, and the R2 Android scan also includes like clue finding.
QTE, the quick time events.
And that's where you have to press triangle, circle, X, or square, like
in the chase scene.
Inside of the cutscenes or inside of the animation that feels like a movie, or
Ability to change the game difficulty.
Okay, that's a big deal. This one had casual and experienced, but some games like Horizon Zero Dawn have a lot more.
Relationship status update, so it's telling you like they hate you.
Right, which is a kind of a way to get into the flowchart.
The pre-construct that Marcus did, which was similar to the reconstruct, but it's where you're deciding what move you're going to make before you make it.
Okay, this is so nitpicky, and I'm sure there's somebody at Quantic Dream that's going to hear me say this and go, oh, we tried, but it was so fucking hard, or whatever. I wanted to pre-construct stuff as Marcus. Right? Like, how you can go, I'm going to hop here, I'm going to hop there, and then when the drone comes, I'm going to jump and I'm going to grab it. I wanted to have to do the quick time events for those things we pre-constructed. Does that make sense? As opposed to, like, puzzle out the pre-construct and then hit go and then it, like, prints and it goes. Because androids can do it. I get it. I understand. The game makes sense. Marcus is a perfect android, so after he's figured out how to do it, he can just pop.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cool to have to do those hops and stuff.
Mile Frost says that they really liked time choices because in reality, you only have a split second to think about what you're really going to say or do. And then once you do it, you can't go back. Yeah, I agree. I like that. It kind of puts you in the hot seat.
We should talk about that, too, when we talk about Life is Strange, because one thing I think that series does a good job of is having some choices that are timed. Like, does it have, yes. There's got to be time choices.
Oh, hey, Wrestling Leva. Thank you so much for the raid.
Come on in.
Come on in, friends.
Welcome to Dechart Games Game Club. We're doing Games Club for the first time. It's like a book club, but we're talking about Detroit Become Human. And we're getting into it. But I think that things that are timed need to be something that in real life would have a time essence to it, and other ones are really, really slow.
Yeah, like
it's like where are you gonna move? It's like nobody decides that in 10 seconds.
Or like Bay or the Bay, where you have to stop and be like, oh God, what am I gonna do? Like weigh the choices. Okay, so of the game mechanics in Detroit Become Human, it seems that unanimously the branching dialogue choices are the most hype.
And reconstructing the crime scene.
Okay.
And then the time choices, relationship status updates, and looks like R2 to scan. Can we talk about that a little bit, about environmental storytelling? I think that could be a cool thing to get into. Choco Puffin!
Hey,
what's
Choco!
up? Choco Puffin! Yeah!
Woohoo! Thank you very much.
Thank you for the gift sub, Choco Puffin. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Like a cat in a gif. I thank you. Thank you.
Reconstructing
the crime scenes.
crime scene.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else wants to vote? Now's your last chance. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's those dialogue branches that we like.
And then the timed choices.
Okay. Then let's get into this. If y'all want to talk about dialogue, branching dialogue.
Yeah. Okay. How many branches? 2?
How many branches? With this one, I'm not going to do a poll, but let's just discuss this. When it comes to a branching dialogue, there's 2 ways.
1 million.
1 million choices. There's 2 biggest types of these. Maybe we could do a poll like this. But I guess how do I help me? Somebody help me get the 2 things I'm trying to poll here.
Okay.
One is Detroit Become Human, or Until Dawn, let's say, where the story is happening, the protagonist or the playable character says something, and then the other character they're talking to has a reply, and then you can, as the playable character, say something, and then they have a reply, and the scene keeps moving forward. That's it.
Yeah.
You get 1 shot to say the one thing. Or when you play Mass Effect and you stand there and you come
Horizon.
up to, or Horizon Zero Dawn or The Witcher, and you go up to someone and you're like, "Hey,
Tell me about the conduit."
Tell me about the conduit." And then they tell you everything they know about their conduit, and then you're like, "Tell me about my machine gun." And then they tell you everything about the machine gun.
Yeah, one choice
And then
or
they say-
multiple choice.
Yeah, it's like do you
Plot driven or informational. I think that's what it is. Because you're still getting information, but personally, what I like about the branching narratives.
Is it called plot driven? Is that the way to put it?
Plot
Like scene work dialogue versus
So-
informational dialogue? Can I call it that? Can I call it scene work?
Yeah.
Because that's how I see it as because here's the reality. Like if I go up to the guy at the store, right? I go to the lamp store and I talk to the guy and I ask him a question. Like I could ask him any number of questions, and it's always possible I could ask him those other questions.
Yeah.
But the reality is this interaction at a certain point, he'd be like, "Are you here to interview me? Like, what do you?"
Yeah. So where you'll make a choice in the branching dialogue, and then the person that you're in the scene with, or the other character, will have an opinion on the choice that you just made, and then that will lead to the next them to respond in a certain way, which then gives you another option to respond. Versus,
right. Like it being conversational versus it being expositional. Because I'm gonna say it because this is what Games Club is literally all about. When we play games like Horizon Zero Dawn or The Witcher or Mass Effect, when we stream them, y'all want us to ask every single question of every single NPC. And I get it, because y'all know that there's some good thing down that one rabbit hole, but in real life I don't do that. And so when I'm role-playing as a character, as I'm Geralt, I'm like, tell me the shit I need to know and I'm gonna go kill this thing. And if I'm not interested to know more, I don't feel obligated to be like, tell me more about the pageantry of the misanthrope or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't give a shit.
Okay, so scene work dialogue, more like what we see in Detroit and Until Dawn and The Strange.
I mean, we'll ask this question, I think, every time too, because this is a big deal. Because it's a really good way to get information to the player, because you let them literally ask. You know. The lore rabbit hole. Yeah. Like, I love that kind of stuff. Like, guys, I spend hours just looking at a thing and then looking up the next thing and then looking up the next thing and then looking up the next thing. Like, I'm so about that. But sometimes when I'm playing a game, I want to like get to it. You know?
Okay, so then the question about the different dialogue branches, how many do you like to have? Do you like to have 2? Do you like to have 3? Do you like to have 4? Or is 4 too overwhelming? How many choices for each dialogue branch?
I'm going to call it dialogue moment. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what we're...
Depends
2,
on the story.
3,
well,
4.
let's do a Detroit Become Human. Or something like that. That's a very story-driven game. That's emotional. That is all about the character developments and the relationships, because that's what you all are saying you love the most.
Right.
So.
And when I'm talking about, we can't put 1 up because there are some games where you just push the button to like load the next line of dialogue, but that's not what we're getting.
No. We want choices.
Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it more? Type of crazy enough that I'm asking you to type 1 if it's 2, 2 if it's 3, 3 if it's 4, and 4 if it's more. Does that make it easy? And who is Indra? Welcome back for 8 months. And Holly FM, welcome back for 4 months. Saying Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year!
I'm so excited to see what this year has in store too. I feel good. Well, there are 4 buttons on the PlayStation controller.
That is true.
Good call.
Oh, Astro Goose says they love the option of not saying anything. Like in Dark Pictures Anthology, where or Until Dawn, if you just don't make a choice, you just don't say anything. And that says a lot.
I think that's actually huge because even choosing to speak is something. You know, when you're watching The Witcher, half of his situation where he's his what do you call it? Closed captions, the subtitles, it's just Geralt going, you can say a lot with silence.
Saying nothing.
It's definitely a choice to not say anything, to grunt.
Okay, so definitely seems that 3 is the most popular.
I love 3.
Yeah, I like 3.
I think 3 is a good thing because the other thing that kind of goes where we're talking about like timed choices is that sometimes I get kind of overwhelmed and I don't like it when the choice when I spend half of my deciding time trying to read and understand all of the different things I could do. And the one thing that I'll throw out there is like, this goes back, y'all have seen our Detroit playthroughs, but like I had no idea what ruse meant when, not ruse panda, ruse, which is like to toy with somebody or to like fool them or to whatever. I still don't really know. But as a moment in the game when the word pops up and says, be coy or be a smartass, I need to really feel those dialogue choices, make it feel coy and feel badass, because otherwise I click coy and then like the dialogue doesn't connect to the word that was there to represent it. Yeah. So here's a poll I'd like to know. Do you like, when you're making a branching dialogue choice, do you like to have a word, like a single word that represents the thing, or the start of the sentence, or the start of the reply?
Yeah.
Like which do you prefer? And by that I mean like it could be like,
grumpy,
stoic,
yeah,
or silly, right? Or do you like when it's kind of like I don't know, you can kind of indicate what the beginning of the tone is going to be, but you can choose.
Bitch, please.
Yeah, like in Cyberpunk, I think we had a little bit more of the start of the reply kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
This is really interesting. I'm going to slow y'all down for a couple of this. James KZ says the reason I like the start of the reply is because sometimes the single word doesn't really represent what you think they're going to say, right? And then you feel like, damn, I just blew up my own spot.
We're talking about the dialogue branches and how it gives you those different options of what are you going to choose. And when you are seeing those visually on the screen, do you like to have a single word, or do you like to have the start of a sentence that you're going to say, like hold the phone, or like I love that, or
I see here also definitely that the single word could be misunderstood or misleading depending on the translation and stuff. Exactly. Also in the Dark Picture Anthology that they do kind of do both.
Yeah.
The little compass on the bottom goes like empathetic or cold, right? And then it will say, I believe, right? It says,
I don't remember.
We'll get into it, I guess, when we get into it. But I do think they have both.
I do, yeah. And I saw someone say that if it's a timed event where you only have a certain amount of time to make a choice, having a shorter single word is better than having to read, because it does get overwhelming if there's too much on screen while you have to make a quick decision.
Right.
Okay, so.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of timed events,
What?
it's been another hour.
Really?
Yeah. Time flies when you're nerding out about games you like. This is cool. What do you guys think? Here, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. The start of the reply is gonna win that one. But I do really think the single word helps for the speed of it, though. Like if I have to make a fast decision, left or right, you know what I mean? Like you can still do that kind of quick stuff. But yeah, it's been another hour.
Single
Poll mania.
For timed branches.
Right.
Timed
responses. Yeah. You guys, you digging this? You love this? Okay. Games. Let's do Dechart Games Club. Love it.
Overwhelmed.
Leave it. What do y'all think? Dechart Games Club. Type a 1 in the chat if you love it. If you are about this kind of thing, type a 2 in the chat if you want us to leave it and just get back to playing some video games on Fridays.
Hey, Bloody Cheyenne.
Bloody Cheyenne.
Thank you so much for the gift sub group hug.
Yo, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Bloody Cheyenne, another one of our longtime friends. Thank you for your support. Thank you kindly. And also, you should know, those gift sub givers like Bloody Cheyenne,
Yes.
you're entered in 10 times. We're going to give away today a
loot box.
A Detroit Become Human
Mystery
loot box.
What's inside? We don't know. We'll figure it out.
What I got, as I promise you, an actual box filled of Detroit Become Human stuff. And I promise you, it'll be a combination of things Detroit Become Human related that nobody else in the world has, because it'll be a collection of things.
One of a kind
collection.
Yo, it's Cosmic Georgie's birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody! Please say happy birthday, Cosmic Georgie.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh yes, you are excited for some Mass Effect 3 later, so are we.
Let's see the poll. Did anybody say no?
0.6%.
Just a little bit.
Honestly, I like that.
That's pretty good.
I like a dissenting opinion. I appreciate you being here, and I'm glad y'all love it. And I'm glad that with 99% accuracy, we're doing pretty good. So speaking of our games clubs, we've got Resident Evil is going to be coming up on January 21st. February 4th, we're going to do Until Dawn. And February 18th, we're going to do Horizon Zero Dawn. And then I'm going to discuss with my wife what we'll do next.
I think I definitely want to do Hellblade.
Definitely gotta be Hellblade.
I want to put Hellblade on there. I also want to do Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. Gotta do
sure.
Life is Strange.
Gotta be. Place of Power.
Gotta be.
What other games that have really inspired you that you want to put on our games club? Telltale games.
Okay, yes. The Dark Pictures games. The Dark Picture anthologies.
Tell me why. It Takes Two.
The Witcher.
The Last of Us.
We got to do the Mass Effect. We'll do the Mass Effect one after we finish Mass Effect 3, which we're starting, by the way, tomorrow, team. Mass Effect 4 hours earlier than whatever time it is for you right now. We're going to jump into the final game in the trilogy, Mass Effect 3 Legendary Edition at noon Pacific. Night in the Woods could be cool. Breath of the Wild, Ghost of Tsushima.
Little Nightmares I saw.
Oh, I love this.
Little Misfortune.
I love this, team. It's really fun because Amelia and I love playing games with you all, and we love unpacking them like this with you. Quite candidly, sometimes after 4 hours of a finale stream, when we make it to the end, we're just physically done talking. So it really is nice to go back into these games and to chat them out and to kind of unpack them. So what better to start with than the ones that we've played the most of? Heavy Rain. Erica would be an interesting one too. I think we owe another playthrough of Erica so we can get another path.
Hey,
whoa.
Joku, Joltika.
Yo, Joku.
Hey, thank you so much.
Joku, I'm gonna throw some sparkles at you. What do you think of that? And then when you least expect it, you're gonna see some glass smash. And I don't know why I like that one so much. I just think is it convincing?
Know why. Yeah.
It's actual glass. Watch out. You have some glass on your pants. I don't know. What is this one, though? This one, what do you think, team? Should we do a poll about whether or not that gets to stay?
No, we're getting a little off track.
Every time we use that one, I'm like, why do we have that one? Freak out!
Freak out.
It's time for hydration break, is what it is.
Let's do it, yes.
When we come back, we're going to talk more about Detroit Become Human, and we got to get into what about it?
What about it? I mean, we've talked about the theme, maybe character arcs.
Arcs and paths. I think that would be a good place to discuss when we come back. Let's put that up here. Character arcs and paths.
Yeah, arcs, yeah.
Arcs.
Yes, arcs.
And paths. Yes. Okay, cool. And that'll be a spoiler-safe one. Let's do it.
And Uni, bold but loony, thanks for the big cheers.
Yo, Uni! Thank you for being bold.
But loony.
We'll see you in 5 minutes, team. Thanks for hanging out with us. Pink Pumpkin, thanks for subscribing with your Prime. If y'all have Amazon Prime, you can link it to Twitch for a free subscription with Prime Gaming. Exclamation point free in the chat will get you the way. And we will see you all on the other side in 5. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
The temperature is dropping, the sun is going down, and this blanket is poofy and nice.
Nice. So, this is Dechart Games Club, and today we are talking about Detroit Become Human. Dechart Games Club is essentially like a book club for all of the video games that we love the most, and we are doing this because Brian and I are developing a video game, and we need your help, and we need your help through Games Club to talk about all the games that we've played, why we love them, what makes them so special, and what can we bring from those games into our game.
That's right. And so far, we've been discussing all of the things that you like the most about Detroit Become Human, and like what do we got to keep.
Yes.
And then we have talked about characters, our favorite characters. We talked about those characters a little bit for the first hour. And then we got into themes and tropes. I'm feeling so cozy, team.
Yeah, we talked about themes and tropes. Your top theme about Detroit was becoming self-aware and discovering your identity, followed by free will versus programming, and then a found family. Then we also talked about game mechanics. Which ones do you like the best? And your favorites were the dialogue branches, reconstructing the crime scenes, and timed choices. And then we were talking about, like, how do we do all that stuff? Like, what kinds of dialogue choices do you guys like the most? You said you like to have about 3 different choices. That would be a start of a reply. But if it's a time choice, then a single word.
This is really good intel, team. This is super helpful. Whoa.
Up next, we are going to talk about arcs, character arcs, and paths.
Paths through Detroit Become Human. I'm going to throw this out. Why don't they make kids analyze games in school? I agree. I think Games Club should be more like a book club around. Let me tell. Whoa!
Yo, Canadryan!
What?
Yo!
Canadryan! Look out for these sparkles! Yo, if you got one of those 20 gifted subs from Canadryan, please check out the starter kit and be sure to thank them. We got a whole kit put together to show y'all what's up. You want this blanket, don't you?
No. You
can have it. You can come. You can
fine.
come under my wing. Come here. Come on in. There you are, little bird.
Nice.
Very nice.
Wow!
We appreciate you, Canadryan. Thank you. Appreciate your support, teams.
Let's let them know also what our upcoming games clubs are going to be, because we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks. So our next games club is going to be exploring Resident Evil, specifically Resident Evil 2 Remake and Village, which are the 2 that we've played. Then on February 4th, we're going to get into Until Dawn, and February 18th, we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn before we start playing on February 20th, Horizon Forbidden West.
But first, just so you have too many things to keep track of, we're playing Mass Effect 3 tomorrow, team. Tomorrow, team?
And Zellair, welcome back for 42 months. Welcome back.
Apropos to nothing besides right now referring to y'all as team, which do you prefer? Because I'm making a conscious decision to migrate away from guys, because I say, hey guys, all the time.
I know. California girl.
Some, what heteronormative-ish. I understand how guys is technically Webster's dictionary gender neutral, but do you prefer being referred to as like,
mammals?
hey team, or mammals? Let me know. Type a 1 in the chat if you like it better when I say, hey, team, look at this team. Hold on, where'd this go? There it is. Number 1 in the chat if it's like, hey, team, what's up, team? Or, because my buddy Logan says it all the time and I like it. It makes me feel good. Or number 2, which I think is a little bit more correct, mammals. Because you're all mammals. I know it. I can just tell. I can just tell.
Both are great. What about either?
Okay, what about either?
All right.
Mammal team? Team mammals?
Team mammals.
Yo, I'm
I'm
so team mammals. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for humoring
nerds?
me.
I like that too.
What up, nerds?
Friends. I like
friends.
to call you friends.
My mom's a preschool teacher and call team mammals. Team mammals? Anyway.
Arcs. Arcs and paths.
All right, I'm going to do less polls with this one. Let's just get into the chatter box about it.
So what are some of your favorite kinds of character arcs that you have, that we have in Detroit Become Human? Do you want to look up the official archetypes?
Well, okay, so an arc and an archetype are different things, team. Mm-hmm. A character arc is the transformation or the inner journey of a character over the course of a story. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna pull up some images here. We can use some visual aids.
And an archetype is slightly different.
An archetype is hold on. I understand it, sweet thing.
The sweet thing.
Sometimes. She's a double Scorpio. Don't get the sweetness is she's sweet. But
I am.
She's also
a rising and moon.
Okay. Examples. Here we go. Archetypes definitions. We should do one or the other. Okay.
Yes, let's do archetypes. How about? Right? Yes. Archetypes.
I'm about to get all liberal arts on this shit, y'all team. Archetypes. What is an archetype? An archetype is an idea, a symbol, a pattern, or character type in a story. It's any story element that appears again and again in stories from cultures around the world, and it symbolizes something universal in the human experience. Mm-hmm. Archetypes are always somewhat in question. After all, no one has studied every culture in the world. That would be impossible. So we never know for certain if something is truly universal. But according to literaryterms.net, here are some examples of archetypes. The most famous example of an archetype is the hero. Mm-hmm. Hero stories have certain elements in common. Heroes generally start out in ordinary circumstances, are called to adventure, and in the end must confront their darkest fear in a conflict that deeply transforms the hero. Luke Skywalker is a perfect example of this archetype. He's born on Tatooine. He's called to adventure by R2-D2 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and must then face Darth Vader in order to become a Jedi. So this book, A Hero with 1,000 Faces, is always brought up when discussing the hero archetype, if anybody wants to jump into that. And George Lucas famously speaks about that book a lot.
So hero to villain, or villain to hero. I love that.
That could be a character arc. When we go from one character to another type. You could have a character who's very, very shy, and then they become very, very outgoing and charismatic and lead the talent show at their school. Mm-hmm. So that's a character arc. But the archetype is that character's universal journey. Here's another example. After the hero, the most common one, and Amelia absolutely loves this one, is the trickster. The trickster breaks the ordinary rules of society and even nature. They are often androgynous, having both male and female attributes, and they love to play tricks on those around them. They may also laugh at things others find terrifying, such as death or isolation. Tricksters are believed to symbolize the chaotic and complex realities of the world that are beyond the understanding of the human mind. Tricksters can be evil, like Loki or the Joker, or they could be good, like Bugs Bunny.
Like Loki.
Like Loki.
Yeah.
Depending on how you look at it. It sounds
bit
like
of
you
both,
some serious Loki vibes, right? So you could have a character arc for the archetype of the trickster. If the trickster in the beginning is out only for themselves, and then grows to the end of the story that the trickster who used to only look out for themselves is now looking out for everybody else or taking care of somebody. Yeah. So we can see character arcs happen within the
archetype. Okay, so in Detroit Become Human, what are some of your favorite arcs and archetypes?
Can I give you all a list of some archetypes? Because I think that would help, because I think a lot of people are new to archetypes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Last but not least, because I saw a lot of you talking about this in chat, another archetypical character is the anti-hero, who has many attributes of a hero, but is not a traditional good guy. Batman, for example, is an anti-hero. He fights crime and stops supervillains, but he's also a moody recluse with a slightly cruel streak. So Geralt
is an anti-hero.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Yeah, Deadpool, Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Y'all like anti-heroes? So let me get you a fresh list of archetypes, and maybe I can pull them up on the screen here.
Oh no, that's something else.
My sweet?
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing you do while I'm driving vehicles as well.
Backseat driving?
Yeah, you're kind of like your backseat clicking. Let me just get this list of archetypes, okay? Listofarchetypes.com. List of literary. We're gonna go with literary archetypes because I feel like literary archetypes I definitely consider. Let's go with the top 12.
Okay.
That seems reasonable. Top 12 archetypes are.
Let me give you some advice.
Hold on. Computer's playing an ad.
We need advice.
Let me give you some advice. Don't tell your wife what to do. Wives tell husbands what to do. The lover. Archetype number 1. The lover. The romantic lead who's guided by the heart. Their strengths are humanism, passion. Maybe can you open up a poll thing and start typing these in? And then we'll poll which are your favorite. Because I get that you guys are the Detroit Become Human crowd. You're here for the Detroit Become Human discussion. But let's talk about these archetypes in context of Detroit Become Human. But they exist.
Should I put it up at the top here or one of these?
No, the one or the other that pulled out of me. The archetypes that resonate with you are more exciting to me than necessarily the archetypes came before Detroit Become Human is what I'm trying to say. They're bigger than Detroit Become Human. So the lover, and Amelia's going to list these all up. Click the purple button. There it is. Okay. The lover, the romantic lead who guides by the heart. Strengths, humanism, passion, conviction. Weaknesses can be naivete or irrationality. Lover archetype examples. Romeo and Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. Noah Calhoun in The Notebook. Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. And Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Second, we have the hero. The hero is the protagonist who rises to meet the challenge and saves the day. Their strengths are courage, perseverance, and honor, with weaknesses of overconfidence or hubris. Your faith in your friends is yours. Archetype example. Achilles in the Iliad, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman, Harry Potter in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The magician. The magician is the third type, a powerful figure who harnesses the ways of the universe to achieve key goals. This could also be the wizard. The magician, strengths of omniscience. Omniscience? Omnipotent? It's not omnipotence. Omniscience. They can see it. Omniscience and omnipotence, which means they can see all things. Discipline. Their weaknesses can be corruptibility or arrogance. Like,
bad dudes.
Fucking
Darth
Palpatine.
Vader. Like Vader, who's right here.
Right there.
You.
Magician archetypes are Prospero in The Tempest, Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, Morpheus in The Matrix, Vader, Darth Vader, Star Wars. Number 4, the outlaw. Do you love the outlaw who's the rebel who won't abide by society's demands? They're independent thinkers, virtuous, and owe no favors. Their weaknesses are self-involved or potentially criminal. Outlaw archetypes include Han Solo, Dean Moriarty, Humbert, and Batman. The Explorer is the 5th type. The Explorer is a character naturally driven to push the boundaries of the status quo and explore the unknown.
Like Nathan Drake.
Curious, driven, motivated by self-improvement. They can be restless, unreliable, and never satisfied. Odysseus, Huckleberry Finn, Sherlock Holmes. These are ideas. They're the Explorer. Now there's number 6, who's the Sage. Is a wise figure with knowledge for those who inquire. A mother figure or a mentor is often based on this archetype, right? Strengths are wisdom, experience, insight. Weaknesses are cautious, hesitant to actually join the fight or the action. Famous sages are Athena in the Odyssey, Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, and the Oracle in The Matrix. Number 7 is the Innocent. The Innocent is a pure character, a morally pure character, often a child whose only intentions are good. Yes.
Alice.
They have high morality, kindness, sincerity. Their weaknesses can be that they're vulnerable, they're naive, they're rarely skilled.
Yeah.
They're often cold.
Clementine.
Yes, Clementine could go. Her character arc could go from being an innocent to a hero. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can combine these. Tiny Tim in A Christmas Carol, Lenny in Mice of Men. We got Buddy the Elf in Elf. Number 8 is the Creator, and we'll just go to 10 here.
Yeah.
10 is the Creator, a motivated visionary who creates art or structures during the narrative. Creativity, willpower, conviction. Weak with self-involvement, self-mindedness, or lack of practical skills. This could be Zeus in the Iliad, Emmett Brown in Back to the Future.
Carl, and Kamsky.
There you go. Dr. Victor Frankenstein in Frankenstein. The Creator is definitely Kamsky.
Yeah.
Number 9 is the Ruler. The character with legal or emotional power over others. Omnipotence, status, resources. Their weaknesses can be aloofness, they disliked by others, or they can be out of touch. I'm going to go ahead and say Vannevar.
Yeah.
Could be one.
Or Amanda, also.
Amanda is a little bit the ruler of that story. Tony Soprano in The Sopranos. Creon in Oedipus Rex.
Kamsky as well.
King Lear in Lear. And then last but not least, there's only 12. Can we fit 12?
Not really, no.
No. I'm going to read you the last ones while we do the thing. Let's go with the Everyman.
Okay.
The Everyman is the relatable character who feels recognizable from daily life. Every character Tom Hanks has ever played. Not everyone, but a lot of them. Grounded, salt of the earth, relatable people. I'm going to make an adjustment. There we go. I'm making another adjustment because it's a little big on the screen. Can you switch below to a different one that's not semi-transparent? Nice.
I'm still kind of... There we go.
There we go.
No.
Okay.
There we go.
The question at the top of the thing says, which one of these do you enjoy the most? So maybe if there's a character from Detroit that stuck out as one of these archetypes for you that you also really like in other things, type 1 for the lover, 2 for the hero, 3 for the magician, 4 for the outlaw, number 5 for the explorer, number 6 for the sage, number 7 for the innocent, number 8 for the creator, number 9 for the ruler, number 10 for the everyman. I'm going to fight back these hiccups. I'm not going to hiccup again. So it's over. It's over.
All right. Definitely a lot of love for the outlaw. So in Detroit, which character do you think falls into the outlaw category?
Well,
it's
who
all
do you,
of them. I mean, it's...
Who do you think? Who do you think is the outlaw?
Hank? Marcus?
Hank is a little bit... North was the one that popped to my mind. Because North is saying from the top, I'm out for me. I'm looking out for me. Marcus could be an outlaw, depending on how he plays it. I mean, they're definitely, all the deviants could be outlaws.
Yeah.
But as far as the outlaw archetype, which character seems to sound most like this? This is a rebel who won't abide by society's demands. Independent thinking, virtue owes no favors, but their weakness could be that they're self-involved or potentially criminal.
Yeah, that definitely feels like North.
Doesn't it? I mean, it could be Marcus, depending on how you play him.
If he chooses to follow.
If he's more like North.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Cumber Royal, welcome back for 44 months.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back, my longtime friend, Cumber Royal. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there are two perspectives to exactly. It could be both.
All about perspective. Yeah, and a lot of these archetypes are, presented in literature where all of their strengths and weaknesses are defined, but in video games they're defined more by the player. Mm-hmm. It is Sumo on Amelia's sweatshirt. It says, "I like dogs." You can get it on our merch store, ! Merch. We'll get you the link to the hoodie if you want it.
Lover.
No way. Jendi says North is looking out for her people. It's true. That's true. So I guess if you're looking from the point of view of the society, you have to fail with Marcus to see North's best points. Interesting. But I definitely think here we're saying we like outlaws. Mm-hmm. Like, we like the outlaw. But that's interesting, yeah. I guess, that could be a long... Kamsky could be an interesting combination of a creator outlaw. Mm-hmm. So you could get some really cool combos, right? When you start to merge, like, the lover hero. Or what would it be like, the sage ruler is very different than the magician ruler, even though they could be similar. You could also talk about alignment.
Yeah,
a little bit. Do you guys want to talk about that?
Like chaos, or
chaotic.
lawful, or...
Do you guys know about alignment charts? Can we talk about alignment? Let's do it. Okay, I'm going to pause this. If anybody else wants to throw up their input on the poll, now is your last chance to do it. Type a 1 through 10 into the chat. Grab your dice. No, be as passionate. I want you to be passionate about North. I want you guys to be passionate about stuff. I honestly, genuinely don't care if any of you agree or disagree with me on anything. I just want that if you think about something that you believe, that you're passionate about your point of view and that you stand for your point of view. I think that's really important. The outlaw is the number 1. The creator is the number 2. And the explorer is the number 3. Super cool. Super cool. Okay. Just Chloe just blinking around here in a little demo. Okay. Let's see. I do have the game totally loaded up. I was like ready to jump in case we needed to, but I'm really enjoying the discussion part of this. I think that's super useful.
Yeah.
What was I just saying? What were we just doing?
Not we're gonna do the.
Oh yes. Alignment chart.
Alignment charts. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about alignment, because for me, the arc for Connor is very much about alignment. Ooh, okay, we got 9 alignments here.
Ooh, that's cool.
I've never seen this list before. Hold on, let me pull this up. Anybody play some TTRPGs, tabletop roleplay games? What do you think? Outlaw, you think could be Todd? Leo? Zlatko? Interesting. Yes. Leo. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really kind of curious because I don't know. Like, they're all kind of, there's so many outlaw covers a lot of these deviants because it's like in the name.
They are the outlaws in a way.
Yeah. Okay, so the 9 alignments. Let me see if I can find a better. I want to find an image for this. Can you maybe give an overview of character creation in D&D real quick, just in case anybody's new to it?
Yeah, so D&D is a lot of fun. If you haven't tried it out, I highly recommend checking it out. But one of my favorite parts about playing role-playing games is character creation, and part of that is the character alignment. So you're deciding where does your character fall in terms of their moral compass, and so this is a great image to show where they fall, and Brian's going to bring it up right now.
I'm going to bring it up right now.
Right now.
There it is. I'm going to shrink it a little bit so you all can read it, but I'd rather you see my beautiful wife than my Mug. We got, this is a chart, and I don't think I can mouse over anything here. But this is not exactly the order I would put them in. I would put neutrals in the middle.
Me too.
I would do, hold on. Sorry to be the guy that has to edit the chart, but I don't like the way this chart's laid out. I'm going to say that neutral is its own thing that goes in the middle like this.
You're making your own?
I'm
That's
making
cool.
my own. I'll make another one like this. And then I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No. I've overcomplicated. I'm leaving it alone.
Okay.
Okay, so I see what they've done here is they're not exactly this true. This chart is chaotic evil. I can't. I need my shit on a grid. I need this thing to be a grid. I'm sorry, team.
Basically,
I can't show them that.
No.
Don't look at that. Everyone, I'm sorry to say it,
Look
but
away.
Forget everything you just saw.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Okay. This is basic as hell, but this is what I want. This is what a chart should look like. Save image. Yes. Okay.
I should make that poll go away.
My apologies. Here we go.
No, you made it go away already. Yeah, exactly.
All right, here's a tiny little version of. It's not nearly as pretty, but it's actually much easier to read.
Yeah. So in the middle, there's neutral, which is you're just easily influenced by anything and everything around you.
You stand for nothing.
You stand for nothing.
Your true neutral means this is logical.
Yeah.
Right? This is logical.
And then over here is chaotic neutral. So you're just more of like you're more spontaneous, easily excited, you're more chaotic, but neutral. So you're not really good and you're not really bad. Over here, you're lawful. So you follow a set of rules.
Can I do the
Yeah. You follow a set of rules.
So you could be a character who's lawful good, right? Meaning, and it doesn't mean legally, like following the legal system laws.
It's whatever law you have for yourself.
It means that you have a law that governs yourself. So if you're a lawful good character, then that means that you are, I mean, what do you guys think about, like, where would you put Batman?
I would say that...
Like, Superman is lawful good, right? Superman has a code for himself, and he's doing good. But then there's also characters that are lawful, but they're evil, right? So they are all about their
like
laws.
Riddler. I feel like Riddler is kind of chaotic.
Very chaotic. What are you talking about, babe?
No, but he has his rules. You have to follow like the rule. Never mind.
Is Riddler lawful?
I think, right? He has
Magneto is lawful evil, for sure.
Chaotic good for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's... I mean, I feel like... Yeah. Anyway, these are the things. Right here.
Here, let's read a tiny piece, shall we? Let's read a little bit here. These are the 9 alignments. So Amelia will point to them on the screen, and... Okay, can you take me to lawful good? Can you show me lawful good? Okay, over here. By lawful good, you have the Crusader. A lawful good character acts as a good person and is expected or required to act. They combine commitment to oppose evil with the discipline to fight relentlessly. They tell the truth, keep their word, help those in need, and speak out against injustice. A lawful good character hates to see the guilty go unpunished. Lawful good is the best alignment you can be if your priorities are to combine honor and compassion.
So
lawful good can be a dangerous alignment when it restricts freedom and criminalized self-interest.
So where would we put Connor in this?
That's the point, is that I think Connor, in my opinion...
neutral. Lawful neutral, I think. Right? That's what I think. You can either go, he follows the law.
He starts off as neutral. He's lawful neutral. And it depends on your point of view about it, for sure. Let me just run through these. Neutral good is the benefactor. Neutral good is a character that does their best It does the best a good person can do. They are devoted to helping others. They work with kings and magistrates, but do not feel beholden to them. Neutral good is an alignment that means that you're doing what is good without basis for or against order. So really the things here are good and evil and order and chaos. Those are our extremes, just to kind of wrap our mind around the lawful thing. Chaotic good can be the rebel. Lawful neutral can be the judge. Neutral is undecided. That's like, I'm not even getting into this with you. Chaotic neutral is the free spirit, right? So they're chaotic, but they're not necessarily good or evil. They're just chaotic. You've got lawful evil is the dominator, right? So a villain who methodically takes what they want within the limits of their code of conduct.
Like Vader.
Like Vader, I suppose.
I think it is.
Neutral evil is the malefactor, which is like the one who's against you, but they do evil whatever they can get away with. They're out for themselves, pure and simple. And then chaotic evil is the destroyer. The character who does whatever his greed, hatred, or lust for destruction drive them to do. They can be hot-tempered, etc.
Oh, like Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, there's a lot of dynamics to this. So no character is only one thing all the time, always, but this is a cool starting place. Do you want to do a poll about what our most interested ones are? Because why not?
I have a guess of what I think y'all are going to pick.
Well,
how about this? Okay, yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to put them on a poll then.
Okay.
You guess in my ear behind it. Come meet me behind the button. Hold on, meet me behind the I got it, kiss. Behind the curtain.
All right, I think I know what you guys are going to pick.
Hold on, you tell me in the ear. Sorry, I was...
I have an idea. We'll see what you guys pick.
Yeah, sorry it takes me a second. I have to type these all out one by one.
Fire Crystal, thank you so much for the cheers. And Pink Olive, welcome back for 15 months. Sam Firewolf is back for 15 months as well. Nelly Rue is back for 2. Bonjour, hope you're having a good evening in France. So where is everybody tuning in from? Speaking of France and other places in the world, where are you?
And has anyone ever typed neutral as many times as I have? Because it doesn't look like a word anymore.
We have friends in Germany. We have friends in Minnesota, Arizona, Russia, Finland, Australia, Bulgaria, Sweden, Denmark, Michigan, Finland, Ohio, Argentina, Las Vegas, West Virginia, Brazil, Africa, Germany, Belarus, Scotland, New Zealand, Belgium, Argentina, Texas, Massachusetts,
Yorkshire. Hello.
Italy,
And Spectra Saunders, thank you for being here with those cheers.
Norway, Portugal, Ireland, Florida. Cool. Okay.
Thank you all for being here, team. Good team mammals. Friends. My team of mammal friends.
My team of mammal friends.
You're my team of mammal friends.
So the question is, which of these do you enjoy the most?
Yeah, which alignment?
When it comes to a character that you meet in a video game.
In a video game. 1 is lawful good. 2 is lawful neutral. 3 is lawful evil. 4 is neutral good. 5 is neutral. 6 is neutral evil. 7 is chaotic good. 8 is chaotic neutral. 9. Chaotic evil.
Wow.
A lot of good input.
Yeah.
Apu123Y, welcome back for 41 months. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Anybody else wants to type into the chat? Let's get it going. Thank you again to our awesome moderators. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. Also, just a shout out, I saw a message that I forgot to mention earlier, but if anybody was trying to send a longer message in the chat, sorry, our bot just cuts it off sometimes.
It's like, bap.
So if you type shorter statements, we'll get past the bot.
Okay. Do I know you or do I know you?
Team.
I know you.
She knew you. She called that before I even started typing that out. She was like, this crew is chaotic good. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the second one?
The second one.
The second one
chaotic
looks like
neutral.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
And then what? And then neutral good.
Yeah. Neutral good.
So you all would prefer
Chaos over law.
but lawful good is higher than all of the evils.
I don't know. Chaotic evil.
No. Lawful evil. Lawful evil beats lawful good. That's of interest. See, because you gotta have some character that's evil, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like of the evils.
Lawful evil, and then chaotic good is your top one.
Is it because we can understand a lawful evil character? Like, chaotic evil's hard to keep up with. It's
scary. It's
hard
intimidating.
to vanquish that. You know? But a lawful evil character you can wrap your mind around because you understand they have a code of conduct. Exactly. That's FTL says you have a code of conduct even if you're an evil bad character. You still have rules. Chaotic evil's too much stress.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, y'all are chaotic good, and I knew it from the beginning. I knew it when I met you. You were chaotic good, and then chaotic neutral. So y'all care more for chaos than against good or evil.
Yeah.
But definitely y'all want the good. Okay, sweet. That's super
cool. Wow.
How you doing on your brain? We've been taking in a lot of info today.
I know. I feel like I feel very inspired. I know. I've written down so many different things. Got friends, teams, mammals. I've written down all these things that you like so much about Detroit. I am so excited about this games club. I think we're really going to get some amazing things talking about the games that we love the most and why, what makes them so special. And our goal is to bring the things from our favorite games into the game that we're making for all of you.
Right?
Because we love you.
We do love you. We got a little bit more to unpack here, team, but let's kind of just open it up now. We get the last 15 minutes of the stream. Our plan is to just kind of chat it out with you all. You're loving Games Club. I'm glad. Let me know real quick, and then it'll help us with the overview stuff. Type a 1 in the chat if you've been here since the start of the stream, which means you've been here since at least two or more hours ago. Number 2, if you joined somewhere in the middle, and number 3, if you have no idea where you are right now and you need us to call for help. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so over 70% of you have been here since the start. So I don't think we need to do any kind of recap of what we unpacked today. I think a lot of you got it. The VOD will be up immediately after the stream if you would like.
I mean, I think it would be interesting to just, so this is a big part where Brian and I are differ, is we realize that he likes to make lists. I like to review the lists and recap all that we've done.
In my opinion, the whole point of making a list is to put that information over there so it can just be there for later. And Amelia's like, great, we made a list.
Let's read it.
Stare at it for an hour.
Not an hour, but I like to chicken
Hit them with it, babe. Give them that recap, sweet thing. Let's move.
All right. So when we asked you all, what is the best part about Detroit Become Human? Your top choice was character development, followed by different endings and the branching narrative.
Okay. And choices that have real weight.
Consequences.
Real consequences. Right.
How characters react to your choices, that the characters bend depending on the choices that you make, and they either bring you closer to you or further away from you, and the duality, either being two different sides of the spectrum. We talked about Connor, and your favorite things were his duality and how he's a blank slate, that you're really shaping him from the very beginning.
Big agree.
We talked about Hank, and the things that you liked the most were how he changes depending on the choices that you make as Connor, and that he's morally gray and has a strong backstory. When talking about Marcus, your favorite thing was his influence and choices that impact the whole story world, and his inner struggles, that he has a lot going on. When we talked about Cara, your favorite thing about her was her perseverance, and that she was a mother figure, very strong, protective mother figure. We then talked about the big themes and tropes of Detroit. Your top choice was you felt like you were becoming more self-aware and discovering your identity.
Discovering self-identity, yes.
Followed by free will versus programming. So learning about yourself, like where do you fall? Are you lawful or are you more chaotic? Then your third choice was a found family. So who are you choosing to align yourself with? And then we also talked about the game mechanics. Your favorite game mechanic was the dialogue branches. And reconstructing crime scenes, so being able to like go into the past to see what happened there by looking for clues.
Play it all back.
And then the timed choices, so having only a little bit of time in order to make a big choice. And then
Real quick, I want to do a little mini poll on that one. If you had to choose between timed dialogue choices, right, or timed choices, or QuickTime events. They're very similar, but they're not the same. Which do you prefer in a game? Obviously,
in a narrative.
In a narrative, branching narrative game. A lot of games could have both, and that's totally okay. But a time choice would be like, what are you going to do, player character? Are you going to, speak the truth, or are you going to run from the cops, right? And then the QuickTime events would be you actually running from the cops.
Squircle!
Jump over the thing, slide under the thing, kind of more action related. So basically a QuickTime event in decision form, or like in sort of, this is a pretty even split in any case. I had a feeling it was going to look like that.
Also, GCAT, thank you so much for the gift, saying that this is incredibly fun to be able to sit and discuss things with us. It's been interesting to see everyone's perspectives on all these topics. I agree.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for everybody joining, and for anybody who typed anything into the chat, or if you're just here hanging out and listening in. We're really, really grateful that you joined us, because this is a huge proof of concept for Amelia and I that this will be a good idea going forward. So while you continue to give us our input, we are going to be doing this again in 2 Fridays. So it's going to be every other Friday we do this, the first and third Friday of every month. January 21st, we'll do Resident Evil, specifically about Resident Evil 2 Remake and Village, because we've played them, but we can include stuff from the other parts of the franchise. Until Dawn, we're going to talk about on February 4th. February 18th, we'll talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to be playing Horizon Forbidden West on September 20th. And Mass Effect is starting up tomorrow, Mass Effect 3. So it looks like that's pretty split, but
timed choices.
Choices are winning out over the QTEs.
But not by that much.
Not by much.
So basically, you guys like to be stressed, but only a little.
You like to be stressed, but based off your decision-making ability, go this way or go that way, not about your dexterity exactly of having done a sequence of button pushes.
Yeah,
But this question's going to get asked every Games Club, because to me this is a big riddle.
Yeah.
Because I do think that they both have very different value in your experience in playing the game. That's a good point. QTEs can be inaccessible to some people who can't use the controller in a traditional way. That's a very interesting point. With the decision, the input, binary or 3 choices can perhaps be more accessible. You could also play it has to do with the coordination. So I guess. Maybe if I'm reading the tea leaves of this a little bit, would you all agree with my assessment that the reason why, and it's just like in real life, I mean, those are stakes. If you made the timed decision, then you influence the branching narrative deliberately. If I fuck up and push square when I should have pushed circle, and now I'm sliding down a mountainside and my character's about to die, it was not deliberate manipulation of the story. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that really what it boils down to? Because I like QTEs when I hit them. I think QTEs are awesome when I nail it.
Yeah.
But when I go, oh, fuck, I hit triangle and I meant to hit square and now she's dead, one button push doesn't feel enough to kill her off. But if the choice is like, do this, and then it ends up that they die, then it feels like, well, I made that decision.
Okay. So then if our game had these timed choices, but a little of QTEs that happened in
Maybe you're
certain
gonna twist your
moments.
ankle.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna twist your ankle. Maybe you're something's gonna fall on you. But a little bit of this, but mostly when it comes to like more stress, you guys like to have the timed choices. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one thing. I'm pretty sure I know what this is gonna result. But if a game could only have timed choices, quick time events, or both, what do you choose? Right? And I this is a little bit, we've been kind of leading the witness here, but if you would prefer a game that had no quick time events and only time choices type 1. For number 2, if a game could only have quick time events but not choices, it's almost like, can that even happen? I don't know. I mean, it could. Or number 3, if they should have both.
Well, I think you could have things that only have quick time events. Yes, I think that's possible.
So it seems like, would it be fair to say almost all mammal friends on the team, who like quick time events, also liked time choices, but not all people who like time choices like quick time events. Okay.
Good to know.
Cool.
Yes. So for anyone who is just joining us, this is our very first Dechart Games Club. We're going to be doing this every other Friday. And the goal is to talk about the games that we love the most, that have really inspired us, and to get into just dig deep into these games and what makes them so special, because Brian and I are developing a video game for you, and we want to know what makes these games so special for you.
Both. They want it all.
Like a mixture.
I like it too, but I mean, I think this gives us an idea of our ratio.
Yeah.
It seems to me, even in this sub-poll, it's about 2/3 timed choices, 1/3 quick time events.
Yeah.
I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Y'all get some really good thoughts on this. I was especially interested to hear all of your feedback on the characters and about all of the, are we in the game? You better believe it. Team, since you're here for the first ever Dechart Games Club, we're going to sneak out little bits of information that we feel confident enough to share with you. In the beginning, we said it's going to be a branching narrative game, a story-based game that doesn't just have one ending, right? So that's one thing we could... you're going to get credit. Y'all going to be in the Special Mammal Friends team is going to be in the special things of the game. We can definitely say that Amelia and I will be acting also in this game, because... there's just no way. there's
no way.
No way we're going through years of making a game, probably. I mean, team, I think realistically, it'll take us at least a year, probably more, to make this game come to life. But the truth is, we gotta be acting in that game.
We signed an NDA for ourselves.
Have we signed an NDA? That's hilarious. Amelia, you signed. Here, let's do it.
Yeah.
Here, let's make a new page.
Okay. Also, I see a friend is asking if we're going to play Detroit Become Human again at one point. Most likely, yes. When, I'm not sure, but definitely I would say
probably on its anniversary.
Yeah, which is in May.
I think so.
May 25th is the anniversary. So we will play it again because we love Detroit Become Human. So yes, but we don't know when. But stay tuned, because we will let you know. Yeah. 14-hour stream part 2. Yeah.
Okay, Amelia, I made an NDA.
Okay.
For us. This is a legally binding contract for our game.
Okay.
This is an NDA that I need you to sign in order to work on this. NDA is that you can only tell the team of mammal friends. Please sign. Y'all need to sign it too. Everyone type X to sign your name.
Yeah.
Type X
sign
to
this NDA.
X to sign the NDA. We won't tell anyone besides this team of mammal friends. Okay? Team Mammals, let's go. You guys are really fun. I'm really grateful that we did this today. I'm curious as we look at
so many signs.
Your lips are sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll tell you when it comes time to like crack the what do they say? Let the cat out of the bag.
And also with each games club, we'll be
workshopping it more and more about it. This is a great place for you guys if you want to be involved as we develop this game up. This is the best place for us to talk about it. We will mention it about it and stuff on other streams, but you can tell no the reptiles.
No, you can't tell the reptiles.
No, please don't.
No.
Please don't. Those cold-blooded bastards. We're gonna be mostly focusing on talking about our game and our game development experience on these Friday streams, just so that we don't Amelia and I, as you can see, 3 hours today flew by.
Yes.
The sun is literally set, and I didn't even hardly notice. So if we get into this while we're playing some other games, we're very easily going to go off course for hours and hours. Ved Ted, thank you for being here for 16 months.
Whoa.
Appreciate you. And
we need to pull a winner.
We do need to pull a winner.
We need to pull a winner for our loot box.
Our loot box.
Our mystery loot box.
Our loot box. We got a mystery loot box of Detroit Become Human swag. Some of it is, I'll tell you what. Whoever wins it can share it.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what's going to be in there, but it's an assortment. It's like a little grab bag. I'm going to call it a loot box because it's just like, in Horizon, when you open a resource box.
You don't know what's going to be in there.
Maybe
Could be metal shards.
Could be metal shards. Could be Blaze. Could be anything. Mean Militant, thank you for the sub. And Holly Britt, welcome back for 8 months. Or 11 months. Holy cow. Almost a full year. Thank you for being here.
Well, awesome.
I'm just going to dump a drawer into it. I'm gonna wrap a drawer. Send it to you. Let's do it. Type a thing. Type. Let us know you're here. Thanks again. Can we get some mod love for our awesome mods and our lieutenants?
Mod love.
Thank you for being awesome.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
I know.
We Games Clubbed. We did it. We did our first ever Games Club.
Friends, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and talking about Detroit and what you love so much about the game.
So good.
This was incredibly insightful, and I'm really excited to get to continue to talk about the games that we love and why, and really get into it because there's just so many great games. So many great games. You loved it. It was hype. You love it. All the best.
It was hype.
Super interesting.
Nice. Yeah, if anybody has any feedback about ways we can improve on this, feel free to reply to our tweets, or you can always email me, email Dechart. I can't confirm that I'll reply immediately or anything, but I definitely do read all those emails. So this is amazing. Look at all this good feedback, babe. Look at all this. You want to gong that gong? I'm just reading a couple of people's messages, giving a couple more seconds, because we got a couple more seconds of the stream, and our mods are going to drop a raid target on me here in just a second. Oh my gosh. You guys are so sweet. I had fun. I genuinely had a ton of fun today with this. This was really, really interesting. And 2 weeks from now, we're going to do Resident Evil.
I cannot wait to talk about Resident Evil.
Okay. And you ready?
Yes. I love all the gong emotes.
The gong emotes are ready. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Hey, _65, welcome back for 5 months. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Oh, and Electine, thank you for the gift sub group hug.
Thank you. All right, I'm ready when you are.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
All right, sorry for the delay, team. Okay, here we go. And the winner is...
of the mystery loot box.
Of Detroit Become Human mystery loot box. Drum roll and gong.
Woo!
Western Dakota. Western Dakota, congratulations. You are the... What? You are the winner. I love seeing people's reactions in the chat when they win. They're like, what? Oh, God, not me. You win. And I'll tell you what, Western Dakota, if you get too much stuff in your loot, you never win these things. You literally can't say that ever again because you just won it. Western Dakota, if you get too much stuff in your loot box, you can share it with a friend or, hook somebody else up with it.
Oh my gosh.
We got some cool stuff we'll send you away.
Super Scree.
Back
for 41 months.
Yo. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Super Scree. Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Should we do a raid?
Yeah, let's do a raid.
I think we got a raid because, our mods found a perfect one.
Perfect.
We're going to go over to Director Chronic's channel, who is playing Detroit Become Human.
Yes!
I don't know, it just seems appropriate, right? Let's go raid some Detroit Become Human, and if you like what they're up to, please drop a follow on their channel. Use a bunch of colorful emotes when you show up. And if you have played the game, as I know some of you have, don't spoil anything just in case they're on their first playthrough. All right, team?
Yeah.
Just have a little bit of fun.
And we'll see you tomorrow for Mass Effect 3. We start Mass Effect tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we continue Horizon Zero Dawn. We're getting towards the end of the game.
Yo!
It's
That means we're probably going to need to be playing a DLC. And Miss Okami.
Oh, Miss Okami.
Miss Okami, come under the wing. Come under the wing. Big hug. Everybody get in here. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Games
Club. We'll have to come up with a secret. How do we end Games Club streams?
Maybe we put our hands
Everybody
in.
put your hands in. Put your hands in. My name is Brian.
My name's Amelia.
And then you all say your names. And this is our
Twitch.
Games Club.
And this is our games.
And this is Games Club. Sweet. I love it. I love y'all. Take care. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you.
Yay.
Let's get going. Yeah. Let's go on the raid in 3, 2, 1.